But yeah, let me let's do it. Let's go for this
Black Kray RYM page from
was that everybody get in, get their RYM pages up.
References ready, everybody get your notes out.
Right.
Living off borrowed time, the clock ticks faster. Living off borrowed time, the clock ticks faster. Living off borrowed time, the clock ticks faster. Living off borrowed time, the clock tick faster. Living off borrowed time, the clock tick faster. Living off borrowed time, the clock ticks faster. Living off borrowed time, the clock ticks faster. Living off borrowed time, the clock ticks faster.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Living Off Borrowed Time podcast. I'm not Patrick, once again, coming back with an intro this week. It's Caleb, aka OptimalAudio and RYM. I've got not one but two special guests with me this week for this episode, where we're going to talk about a very special artist. So, one of our guests, I'm going to introduce him first because you're pretty familiar with him. It's Kittenpuke on RYM, aka Wyatt. Wyatt, how you doing today?
I'm doing just wondrous, and I can't wait to talk about all the different expanses and eras of the artist that we're talking about today.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Definitely, we're going to talk about how old the artist really is, because we're not sure. We're going to talk about an abundance of mixtapes from the artist and this artist's influence. And with us to discuss the artist is, well, for one, the artist we're discussing is Black Kray, legendary underground rapper in the 2010s, founder of Goth Money Records, and supremely influential artist on a myriad of hip-hop throughout the decade, especially in the latter half. And with us, we have Troy, a.k.a. Influential Detour on RYM. I hope I got that right, Troy.
You did.
Great. Glad I crushed it. I did a little cheating before, and I had to look at the username. I had to look at the username again, but yeah, you can find him at Influential Detour. He's got cool taste. Definitely check him out. And
Thank you.
First time being on a podcast?
Yeah, first time ever. Never done anything like this before, so it's exciting for sure.
All right. Well, just you're being recorded over the airwaves, and it will be played on YouTube. So anything you say can be used against you.
I understand.
So don't upset the Black Kray fans. Although I don't think Black Kray fans will be like Makami fans.
No,
but we're gonna.
I don't think they.
Yeah.
Some artists are just really stan prone, I guess, if that makes sense.
Seems like Black Kray's fans a lot more chill, laid back. You could argue.
I would agree.
So, and we are all Black Kray fans on this podcast. We look forward to talking about him. And how did you guys get into Kray exactly? I guess Wyatt, I'll start with you.
Trying to remember. I think the first time I heard Black Kray was, of course, because at the time his highest rated release on the RYM pages was IceCream and Mac 10s.
Mm-hmm.
And I checked that out. And we'll get into this later, but I'm not as high on that tape as everyone, but I still thought it was a decent enough tape. So that was like the first interaction, but where I really caught on with Kray was when, after that, I went to Crack Clouds Over Art's Kitchen because of the WitchHouse subtag, and I was like, okay, what is because, and we talked about this before on our Cemetery episode, it was like I was really into the idea of WitchHouse expanding more into its rap influence, so I saw a mixtape like this, and he's got like the Metallica shirt on the cover, so I was like, okay, this or is it the Iron Maiden?
It's the Iron Maiden.
The Iron Maiden shirt on with Eddie on the front. And I was like, okay, this seems like it could be something. And then I was just all in.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I think so like I said, I've come to Black Kray in the last year or so, and I'm definitely late on the train, but still earlier than than a lot of the website, but still later than the people. I think I had seen it on I reference him a lot, but RYM user Looking Ghost. I had seen it on his list over the last year and a half or so, because I think he had been listening to Kray since 2018, I want to say, around that time, 2018, early 2019. He rated a lot of Kray, and I had seen his. I think he had said something about 7,000 Degrees in 2018, and I had seen it pop up on some other lists that I followed last year, and I kind of just hopped onto the wave, in early 2020-ish. Was hooked from honestly from the jump. It was something that was unlike a lot of other rap music that I had heard, and it made me kind of kick myself for being years late to the train, but definitely better late than never.
I think a lot of people were late, are still late to the train when it comes to Kray. So I don't think there's anything bad to feel about that, because he doesn't really get, for what we're going to go into it, but for what he's done, he really doesn't get much of the recognition that, he deserves. So
right, and I feel like he's kind of one of those artists that's always going to be underrated somehow. I don't know. It's odd how some artists are like that, because their influence is just so big, but nobody ever really gives him his credit or his due, really. I don't know. I mean, I'm glad, at least on Rate Your Music, a lot of his stuff is rated pretty high, which is, I'm always happy to see that. So, but,
Yeah, with the new rating system, he's finally secured himself some bolds, so all that. So yeah, he's on the, especially for his mixtapes, he's always looking good now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's because he has that core fan. It's kind of like it's like a metal band situation thing, where it's he's got that core fan base who's just gonna stick with him. So he may only have 200 ratings or whatever it is on a release, but it's going to be a high score from this 200 people who know what they're listening to.
Right.
Oh, for
right.
Sure.
No, absolutely. He'll have mixtapes that are in the 3.7 range or whatever, from a 200 rating, thing, because people are going to be in tune with what's going on that particular mixtape. And then the bolded stuff would just be the stuff that newcomers check out and stuff like that.
Right. And with ratings like that, I tend to, I don't know if anyone else does this, but I tend to kind of round up a little bit. A 3.7 for me is basically a 4, an 8 out of 10 at least.
I mean, look, the general rule of thumb, I've been saying this for years about RYM, and this is a little side tangent I've gone on before on the show, but the general rule of thumb, you take a hip-hop album, you add half a point to it, you add 0.5 to it. General rule of thumb is, and you take anything that's trap or, cloud rap, anything experimental like that, you add maybe 75, 0.7 to it.
Right.
You just keep adding shit, because the website has undervalued rap music for years, and it's undervalued certain subgenres of rap music for even longer. So
yeah, plus if we took RYM's star ratings averages as a straight 5 to 5 5 to 5, and then 10, or 10 to 10 ratio, however you want to do it, it's only 7 whole releases would legitimately have anything above an 8.
Yeah.
It doesn't unless that's really how you personally would like to score, which I guess some people do that. Some people only have ever 10 ratings 5 or 10 releases 5 ever.
Right.
So if you want that, I guess ROM's preference makes sense to you, but otherwise you kind of have to skew that rating a bit to really understand what it means to be average or
right. And also then you have those joke accounts where it's like, you know, a 2-star rating means they like the album.
Yeah,
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 There's
exactly.
a whole other story. Don't even get me
And if
started
it's
on that
anything else,
bullshit.
it's a 0.5. Just
Right,
keep adding to
right.
it, but it doesn't
It's
mean
like, why are you here? Like, what is
just
your
play the game. Yeah, it's
like,
like, I don't understand either. It's like just use the rating system. You just essentially moved everything like down
right,
one step or up one step, and it's unnecessary.
Exactly.
completely. But yeah, RYM rant aside, this is it's way too good of an artist to be spending this much time ranting about the website.
Right.
You're
We
right.
have a lot
You're
to
right.
get through.
Yeah, we do.
Right.
So I guess, you know, my first instinct was to start with the EPs, but then, you know, you could argue, well, no, Ain't Shit would probably come first before.
Ain't shit. Okay, because
Yeah.
right now, I'll be honest, on RYM, Kray's early stuff is a little bit fucked because we don't know a lot of the actual dates. So you know how RYM,
Yeah, that's another
if they
thing.
don't
It's
know
like,
specifics, they just order in terms of lettering.
right.
So the very first release that Kray has
Yeah.
that we know of
Mhm.
is the Ain't Shit EP. The only things that we know for sure prior to this was that he was on MySpace back in the day, making like instrumental tracks and stuff, nothing concrete.
Right.
Problem is that we don't have those anymore because MySpace died a death. And
Yes.
we lost a bunch of stuff.
R.I.P.
But we're pretty confident that this is the first thing that he ever made. And this was already after he had joined Raider Clan as part of their skate team.
Yeah, and that's an interesting discussion point that you bring up because Kray being in the circles and at minimum like a Raider Clan adjacent, you could say.
Yeah, he wasn't. I don't know if he was ever I don't know how much he was ever an official rapper for Raider Clan. It's not like on any of his releases he really reps it, and I think it's partially where he picked up the whole binary thing, but outside of this one EP, I don't even think he references the fact that he was in Raider Clan ever again. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I don't remember. I don't think in interviews either, because I've watched a bunch of the interviews that are available on the internet of Black Kray, of which there aren't many, but I've watched them, and I don't think he ever brought it up.
Yeah, I think he wasn't in it for more than like he was in it a lot of that very quiet time, or it was like pre-2011 Raider Clan, because Raider Clan started in like 2009, but they weren't really dropping much, but they were a thing, and so it was in that weird time where it's like undocumented Raider Clan area, and again he was just a skater really. That was the most he was.
Right.
Yeah,
I was gonna say the only thing I can really add to this is that I know now I follow Space Ghost Perp on Instagram. I try to keep up with his accounts as much as I can, and he's been lately, just as a little side thing, he's been like dissing Playboy Cardi a lot for whatever reason. Like he thinks Cardi copied him and whatnot. Anyways, the point is that he's been like backing Kray. He's been saying like, oh, me and Kray and 4J and like a bunch of these other like Jules that people are the real vampires and stuff like that. So he definitely still really fucks with Kray heavily, and I see Kray follows him on Instagram too. So I'm assuming they're still fairly tight.
Well, that's kind of a minor miracle to be tight with Space Coast Perp in 2020.
Yeah, it's right. It's
pretty much when you said Space Coast.
It's really hard not to get dissed by Space Coast Perp.
Also, Space Coast Perp being cool with 4J is hysterical, considering that they've beefed consistently for a while, or they did, and now they didn't.
And 4J equally, almost as much as Space Ghost Perp, hates everyone.
Hates everyone. It fucking hates everyone. I mean, gosh, it's
two negatives creating a positive.
Right.
Right, exactly. Didn't he have he had a Rodeo Glow diss the other day, right? Or was that the other way around? One of them dissed each other.
I think you got it right. He's like a Rodeo Glow's copying like everything I've ever done, like the Souljuh Boy Breakfast Club interview,
which he's been doing because of the whole Flex cult, Hex cult, whatever.
Oh yeah, he's been they've been beefing, as one does when you're anywhere remotely involved in Jewel Set. You have to beef with somebody else. Right. and you have to do it in like the most online way possible. It still makes me laugh when Chris, aka 108 Mike, shout out to him, said on the episode that they were like beefing in a Space Ghost Perp Discord, which is just hilarious because once again, you have like a Space Ghost Perp Discord. The fact that exists is a very online thing.
Yeah,
and then
I'm on that, and I said it sucks that I missed that.
And then
when it happened,
you had dual set members beefing with each other on that Discord. Like that's just so funny to me.
That's insane.
Yeah,
my only interaction with 4J on that entire server is the one time he was on there, and I asked him if sigils still work if you draw them as an oval.
What did he say?
He said that that's knowledge you shouldn't know.
Oh God.
So,
oh my God.
That's what I got.
I guess, man, you should have told him, hey, man, I created a genre. You gotta respect me.
Did you know your surge music? I made that term up.
Yeah, made that up. He's like, wow.
Piss him off entirely.
Just gonna antagonize 4J. It probably doesn't take much to antagonize 4J.
No, it does. Well, no, because what when he was on the server, all he did was antagonize everybody. He was just on voice chat, just shitting on everyone like the entire time. Him and the rest of the Jewel Set guys, they just come in, and they're mostly just calling us crackers.
Yeah, I mean, can't really argue with that.
Yeah.
No, yeah, he ain't wrong, but it's still like, but he just came in and it was just like insulting everyone. So,
yeah.
I mean, we're all just asking him stupid questions or spamming him very not safe for work images because that's the type of thing that happens on the Space Ghost Perp Discord.
Oh gosh, the inner workings of the Space Ghost Perp Discord will continue to be discussed as we go over the course of many podcast episodes.
It's got a really good fashion subsection.
It's a really good. I'm sure.
Really nice.
I'm sure that's hard.
It's actually very respectful over there.
Very respectful. We don't roast anybody's fit on that Discord.
Hell no.
All right. So I guess we're early, Kray. We can touch on this really quickly because there's
yeah, we can. There's I think a bit to talk about. So it's like the Ain't Shit EP. This is as far as I know, the very first thing the dude ever released. I think if I remember correctly, because I haven't listened to it in a while, he says that he's 16 or 17, like on the intro of this release. So he was just starting out, and it's your standard. It's that type of early 2010 cloud rap, where it's like people get that they're going for an atmospheric type of deal, but they're still kind of thrown in the boom bap, but also thrown in like a really weird mixture of other things. So it's like we have like a couple of like where it's just like dance track samples going on, or there's one song on here that I forget which one. I think it's Future Music 2015, where it is just a dance track and it's just Kray talking over it and slightly singing as he's monologuing about how he's going to be moving soon once he's out of high school. And he's going to start his music career off, which is fascinating to listen to, knowing what we know now. But yeah, all of that. So it's kind of like, it is that what you think of when you think of right on the border 2010 cloud rap, like skate rat shit.
Right. No, I mean that was kind of my impression from it as well, actually. I kind of thought that it was like there is a lot of like skate rap like stuff on here. The drums are still like kind of traditional, like even though it has this like cloud rap, like electronic music kind of fusion to it too. But yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. To me, it kind of just like washed over me, came and went. There were some cool moments on it, but I don't remember too much of it.
I have an affinity for it just because this type of time frame I think is it's an interesting time for rap because it still does because a lot of it is really cheap, really lo-fi, even for being made in the 2010s. There's like that quality to it still. And also there is just at times like because of the lack of mixing, the weird things that people are trying to mix in to figure out this weirdly universal sound that was going to be cloud rap. So it's like, you know, around this time you have things like Kenyatta's doing the same thing, but they're throwing in like guitar solos from like, you know, early, like 80s albums or something to like get that atmospheric hook instead of doing like some big like symphonic thing that we would get nowadays or something. There's a charm to it and like a weird jankiness of mixed of like just shoving a bunch of shit in the blender to try and get this, to try and figure out the sound that I think is kind of interesting for the time.
Right. I'll have to come back and check this one out because I haven't listened to this at all. I think the cover looks like, I don't even know, like it could be like a dubstep EP or something. I don't know. But the song titles are insane too. There's a song called Fuck Pork, We Doin' Harry-on. I'm assuming that means heroin. So I'll have to come check this out because these song titles are crazy, and I like what you guys are saying about it. So
yeah,
I think it's a pretty decent EP. Don't have too much to say about it otherwise.
Right.
And so from here is where we have to be spotty because, and I'm gonna have to explain this because it's a bunch of mixtapes that we know the existence of that are lost to time because we can't find them. So I added these on the RYM page because I'm in a Black Kray archive server where they're trying to find this shit. And there's stuff that isn't even listed here on RYM. We have a bunch of stuff that it's like we think might exist that Kray talks about, but we don't know because he keeps switching album covers and titles so often, and he's got so many different spellings. So it's like we have the 4 hours, 2 minutes, the mixtape, all based freestyles by Orange Juice Jones, which is apparently a literal 3 hour or 4 hour mixtape of freestyles.
Yeah, no, they
know that he used to post freestyles on his YouTube. After that, though, we can. I don't know how many of you guys listen to it. We can talk about Trap Art, the mixtape, which was the second mixtape that I found from like a content dump.
Skater Kray.
Yeah.
Yeah. He changed his name for some reason for this one album. He went by Skater Kray. He goes by a lot of names around this time. He goes by Skater Kray, Black Kray, a bunch of different spellings of Black Kray, Tim Black Dashian, the Black, which I don't think many people realize this, but his name Black Kray, I'm pretty sure, is a shortening of how he used to call himself the Black Krayshawn.
Right.
Oh, no shit.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I think that's where Black Kray comes from. I could be wrong on that, but I know he used to call himself the Black Krayshawn. So I think that's where the name comes from. I don't remember when Krayshawn got popular, but if that would have been around the time.
I think you're right. I think it's, well, I don't know if you're right about the nickname. That would be crazy, but she got popular around like the early 2010s, like 2011, 2012.
Yeah, I was going to say that too, yeah.
But yeah, so I think that's where that comes from.
Yeah, her debut was 2012. Yeah.
I just want to go out and say that 30-round clip Krayshawn is probably one of the best songs he's ever made, and there's quite a few of them that I feel that way about too.
That's a great song.
Right.
That's a really great song, yeah.
But yeah, if we're just skipping through these, then it's like he releases Trap Art. We then have the two releases we can't find, which is Art, Money, and Sluts, and the Selena Gomez Trap House tape.
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know, we don't...
It's a hell of a title.
Yeah, we don't know... We know that the Selena Gomez tape is wholly unique, but the Art, Money, and Sluts mixtape, we're pretty sure... This is the weird thing about Kray around this time, is that he kept just re-releasing the same albums with different track listings, because we're pretty sure Art, Money, and Sluts is just an extended version of Twerkin 10 Cellphones, which is already an extended version of Cocaine and IceCream's 2048. He basically just kept cutting down the track list every release of the same album. So we don't, but yeah, those ones we don't know about, but we do know about Twerkin 10 Cellphones, which was one of the albums that I had found on my content dump. And this one's actually really cool because it's, and then later we found the extended version, which is almost 100 minutes long. But this one's really cool. It's just psyched out. Like, whereas, like, you know, trap art and Ain't Shit were certainly, like, doing that early 2010s cloud rap, like, mixture thing, you could slowly hear from Ain't Shit the trap art to this, him starting that WitchHouse sound. And here he really gets into it because he starts sampling one or two Salem songs. And, like, but there's a bunch of weird shit on this. It's really, like, wigged out. There's, like, the use of, like, tribal drums on some tracks. There's, like, again, some dance tracks with singing. It's just a really fascinating fusion, and I really like it.
We're talking about Cocaine and IceCream, right?
I'm talking about Twerkin 10 Cellphone, which is essentially a longer... There's only one new track on Cocaine and IceCream, and I think it's, like, the second track. But it's like a Salem song he raps over. But outside that, they're essentially the same album, except Twerkin 10 Cellphones is longer.
Right. I was just going to add, I think Alicia Keys, 80 Dime Bags, and Daydream are on like 3 or 4 different projects, if I'm remembering correctly. Definitely
I want to say
Daydream.
yes, because he even throws those on Crack Clouds.
Right.
That was my first thought. I knew they were on multiple projects.
Yep.
Yeah, he was really into re-releasing those especially 30 Keys. He was really into re-releasing that.
That's
every album.
I love that song.
Like, he knew it was up. He knew it was a good song. It just needed to catch on. He was going to keep hitting people over the head with it until they realized.
Right.
And he did. He did keep doing that. Yeah.
4 albums or so.
No, that's
crazy.
That's nuts. It's a great song. I mean, you know, as he should.
Yeah, I don't know how much you guys have to talk about any of these. So I guess we can just. I guess with the 30 Keys acknowledgement, we can go into Crack Clouds over Art's Kitchen.
I'm down for that because I haven't heard much of the previous ones, but I have listened to Crack Clouds quite a bit.
Oh hell yeah, yeah. This is definitely an album that deserves to be talked about.
Hell
yeah. It's just full force into the WitchHouse sound, like with this release here.
Yeah, this is pretty special stuff. I don't know if it gets much better than this album when it comes to anything cloud rap, southern hip hop, like especially with the WitchHouse, like the influence to it too. It's a wholly unique project. Yeah, are we sure it came out in 2013?
Yes, this is where the ratings fall into being 100% concrete with the years. They're not fucked up or waiting for updates or anything. Like this one has been rated correctly for a long time.
You want to know something crazy? It sits at number 1 in the mixtape ratings on Rate Your Music over Almighty So. I mean, 2013, there were just a shit ton of mixtapes that came out. Super Saiyan Volume 1 by Sicko Mob, which is really good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised to see it sit at the top, honestly.
Well,
I think it had to do with it had to do with the reweighting change.
Yeah, that's true. So,
it's number 4 overall on the mixtape charts. So, I mean, deservedly so, honestly.
And it hasn't dropped in scoring. I think it's actually raised.
Yeah.
So I think people are really starting. I'm glad people are realizing that this EP, that this mixtape exists, and then being really into it. I'm glad about that because it is genuinely an amazing and unique mixtape. I mean, as are most Kray tapes, but in this case, it's like it's such a specific sound that again we talked about in the Cemetery episode, but it was like really fleeting. This WitchHouse sound that only came about for a very, very short period of time and then kind of just didn't wholly disappear, but really, really, really dropped off the map.
Yeah, it's got to be one of the most like forward-thinking mixtapes of the decade, easily.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, I don't know how. I mean, this is like, to say it's like druggy and psychedelic is like the faintest like adjectives to describe it. Like, it's a pretty pretty like intoxicating experience overall.
And I'm always so like again, how old was he when he made this?
So this is 2013. If he was like, if I remember correctly, if he was 16 by the time Ain't Shit came out in 2011, so he would have been he would have been like 18 roughly.
Yeah.
18, 19 around this
time.
We're
not sure how old Black Kray is. That's another thing.
But I base it off the Ain't Shit EP and him saying he's 16.
Right.
So if I know that in 2011, so that means he's doing the math in my head right now. So that means he's 25 right now, I guess.
Yeah, makes sense. But my point was just being like, I'm always amazed by like such forward-thinking music coming out of someone that's like 16 to 18, like with the Brave Little Abacus, that band. Like, they were so young when they made music. It's just it blows my mind really that they were able to make something so monumental and just forward-thinking and crazy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting comment. You might be the only time, and it can only come from an RYM user, that compares the Brave Little Abacus to Black Kray. That's really,
yeah,
that's great.
Oh.
You know, I mean that in a good way. It's not.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
Funny. That's like that's. You would only hear that from someone that is extremely online and in internet like music culture.
Yeah, I know for sure.
For sure, yeah. But no, I think I mean this mixtape was really just to this day still, like, I listen to it all the time. And I only discovered it this year, obviously, but as I said earlier, but this is it's an essential mixtape. It, you know, for me, it might be 5 stars, honestly.
Yeah, I got it at a 5 right now, honestly. Yeah,
I'm pretty close. So
I get close. I think there's I don't think there's a bad track on here. I think it's just that sometimes I have to be in a very specific mood. Like, I think I can listen to it more often than most mood albums, but still think that sometimes I need to be in the mood to listen to the whole thing in one sitting.
I hear that.
Because it can be, I know it's only 52 minutes, but in terms of as a project, sometimes it can be very harrowing as an experience just to try go through the whole thing again, because it is really warped and it does take you for a spin.
It's heavy. Yeah, the only thing I would take away from it is that sometimes the like spoken I don't, it's samples, I'm assuming, like the spoken word, like samples, wherever they're coming from, they're just like, I remember the first time I listened to it and the sample kicked in, I think on Daydream, it was just so loud in my ears and so lo-fi that it almost like hurt my ears to listen to. I'm not even gonna lie, because it was just so like almost grating. But that's the only thing I would say I kind of don't like about it. But at the same time, it just kind of adds to the experience because it's really just extremely lo-fi, but it adds to the just to the whole essence of it, really. You know.
Mm-hmm. There's a crackliness to this album that, you know, when we get to the next release on the EP is only furthered. I actually think that one is the one that my ears started hurting a little bit, which is not common for me with all my punk stuff. But yeah, but with this release, it's like it does have its abrasive moments for sure. Mm-hmm. Even though you get things like Alicia Keys and tracks like, I think it was with Broke Destina, or no, it was $30. With $30 in those kind of tracks, or Drip, where you kind of get like a bit of a reprieve.
Yeah, and it's worth it once you get to those two. But one of the last things I just want to say about it is that the title is just absolutely perfect for it. Like, you really get that just, I don't know, it's like the title kind of just describes the entire sound. Like, I just imagine a crack house where people are painting like really abstract, weird paintings and getting high as fuck. You know, I don't know. That's the image I get from it.
Yeah, it's you know, I think what really struck me about the tape is just the how it feels like it's dark, but it also has this like vibrant kind of like you know, this vibrant air about it. It's like a hybrid of, you know, newer age like cloud rap and witch house, and then like Memphis rap to me. Like if that kind of like, to me, that's like the backbone of the tape from an instrumental palette perspective. And
yeah, and I love when certain projects are able to mix and fuse these different kind of influences and sounds. Really, I personally feel like Cemetery has probably listened to this a million times, and this is probably like one of his favorite.
Oh, he has.
Albums. Yeah.
Because I remember we talked about it on the server.
Yeah, I was gonna say Wyatt's probably talked to Cemetery about the.
Yeah.
Did I mention, by the way, I'm kicked off that now? I'm not on that server anymore. They got rid of me. I don't know what happened. I guess it's because I didn't talk on it for a while. They got rid of me, so I don't know what Cemetery's up to nowadays.
They heard the podcast episode, and they were like, fuck this.
He liked that. I guess maybe the members had a problem because I got liked by Cemetery.
Cemetery. Yeah, Cemetery said he liked it, right?
Yeah.
Cemetery. He's kind of odd though. He took the song as the freaking the song Pain off of Rainbow Bridge. He took it off streaming, and I have no idea why. That's like one of his. I love that song.
I know why. Remember, because me and Caleb tried to figure it out because I was misremembering why he didn't like Rainbow Bridge 1. I messed it up. He doesn't dislike the tape. He only doesn't like Pain. That one specific song he doesn't like.
Oh, that song's so good.
Because he doesn't like. I think it has to do with the instrumental. Because he doesn't think the instrumental fits with the rest of his sound. So
it is
he doesn't
different.
like it.
I get it, but like Black Kray has used the same sample too, and I think maybe one other artist I can't think of right now. But I think that song's awesome. I don't know why you would think it sucks, but I get why he thinks it's different though, as opposed to the rest of the tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think artists will always have especially artists like, you know, Cemetery or even Kray, who I'm sure hold themselves up to like a crazy standard. You know,
yeah,
they're gonna listen back to things and be like, oh, I should have done this. I should have been like that. I don't like how that came out. So, and we've seen that now. It's kind of been the trend amongst a lot of artists who are posting to streaming and SoundCloud these days, who they'll just like delete their shit. Like they're like serial deleters, you know. Mm-hmm. Like after they post a song, it's gone. Like, you know,
high C.
Yeah, he's a big one. He's a big one.
Jewel set guys constantly.
Oh my god, that was my first example. Anything Jewel set. You know, you gotta hope that like some fan like posts a re-upload. So you gotta like Google the song title and just hope that it's re-uploaded, and you can, you know.
Pray with all of these early tapes that we just talked about.
True.
Yeah. At least we have Dismiss Yourself. He's been a really awesome YouTube channel. If you can't find a download, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No.
That's where we got to post all these early tapes that we found. Everybody, if you want to hear these tapes, because I'm sure I'm sure most people aren't even aware of them, even if you are a fan of Black Kray. I mean, you should go on to Dismiss Yourself's channel, and he's got media fire links for you to download, like the 3 tapes that we talked about previously. Like, you can go get them yourself, like, instantly.
Yeah, and I think everybody should just go on Dismiss Yourself on YouTube anyway and just listen
Definitely.
to shit. Yeah, there's always. I mean, you know, they're posting constantly and they're super important to the scene. So yeah, but yeah, Crack Clouds. I mean, this is like a masterpiece. Like honestly, it's like there's so much about it that is, I think, not tangible to describe. But if you listen to it and you're willing to buy into the aesthetic, and you like the kind of how like lethargic and kind of like hypnotic it is, and with the eclectic sampling, like you said, with the haziness to it. I mean, there's a lot about this that just captures me, and I've been spinning it a lot ever since I discovered it, and I don't think that's going to change. I mean, I know why. I think your favorite song on here is Alicia Keys' 50 Dime Bags, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I think
it's definitely one of mine too.
Hydrocodone too.
That would be probably my favorite.
Daydream is a hell of an opener. Like, it just immediately smacks you in the face.
Yeah.
That one's great, too. Coming in with the Salem sample and all that.
I like Drop with Luckaline, too. That's a good song, too.
Yeah.
I think it's Drown. Drown's also pretty good. Hydrocodone ain't a bad follow-up to after Alicia Keys.
Yeah.
Like, that's a pretty good 1-2 punch.
Yep.
I think you guys mentioned. I think $30 is really good. You guys mentioned that.
Yeah, $30 is kind of funny because it's like I think it's $30. It's either $30 the day or Broken Destina, the track before, where it's an actually semi-normal. It's the only semi-normal song in the entire project.
Yeah.
And then the outro too, of course.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say, what do you guys think of the Pain on Me freestyle with Mare?
I can't remember the Pain on Me freestyle. I'm gonna be honest. The only features I really remember on here is Chris Travis and Xavier Wolf on Alicia Keys.
Well, those are those are the most memorable features, I think, because they just go in. But I don't know. I like that. I like that track a lot.
I'll have to go back to it.
Yeah, but yeah, I think my favorites are the Alicia Keys. 50 Dime Bags, Hydrocodone, IceCream and Swish is definitely one of my favorites. And what else? I think you said Drop. I think Drop was one of them too.
Yeah, Drop Luckaline. Yeah,
I like Drop Luckaline. Yeah. People. All right. So this is a discussion point before we close here. People are in the comment box saying like, "Oh, it reminds them of like old school ASAP." Like,
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it came out around the same time, so obviously it's gonna have like some of the characteristics of cloud rap and like around this time, but I don't really see it as way different to me.
Yeah,
no,
I don't see it just because, for all of ASAP Rocky's and Clams' production on that album and how good it was, this smothers you in its sound, its atmosphere, whereas Clams on tracks, like Palace or Bass. Maybe
Right.
Bass is Bass is probably the closest I could see to making a comparison, but even then I disagree because it's way more trying to be expansive. This is like someone threw a pillow over your face and it's just
Yeah.
Like Live Love ASAP is compared to this, it is like a super polished, really, it sounds like really professional compared to this. You know what I mean? I kind of yeah, that's how I feel about it. Although I do really love Live Love ASAP, don't get me wrong, but this is just, I don't think there's any comparison to be made, really.
No,
you
it's
ain't getting any out of times or those really more there was plenty of just old head. You ain't getting that on here.
No, for sure.
No, not at all. Yeah, just because both are standout projects in the scene, they don't really have much overlap. But it's interesting to consider. I don't know where that person drew the comparison from, but to me they couldn't sound more different. But
yeah. I need to listen to the extended version because there's apparently a little B feature on the extended version.
What?
Really?
Yeah, 12 Cellphone's freestyle Shaba.
I haven't heard that one. Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about on the ASAP one. I was like, what?
Oh no, not the ASAP one.
That's even crazier that it's on this, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know if that's legit or that's the type of thing where it's his vocals are on there, but Kray just took them. But I don't know. 2013, Lil B would probably do anything if you asked him.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, the man will do. That was probably not too. That's not that's prior 05. Fuck him. He'll just take whatever beat you give him and rap over it.
It's true, and he won't care how long. Although now he's back to the 100 song mixtapes. We've had 3 of them.
Yeah, I've
this year.
seen.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's producing for himself now.
True. Yeah, he did a whole. Well in the mixtape that he dropped earlier this year that I listened to in bits and pieces. I entirely skipped the whole acapella section. So there's like 8 or 10 acapella songs. I was just not doing that. But
I think
he had a whole chopped and screwed section in his.
He was on like Viper Wave here.
Yeah, no, seriously, he was and he really did like the chops. Like he did all of it himself.
That's cool.
So yeah, it was kind of cool.
I am curious if maybe Lil B's thinking for the acapella tracks is that because he's producing his own music now and he doesn't just take beats, then maybe he's like, well, here's the acapellas for you to throw on your beats.
Oh God, a man of the people.
That's probably what if what it just occurred to me now, but what if that is why he's doing that?
Is he just inviting people to not pay him for like songs? I don't know how that would work.
He invited people to send him beats in which he wouldn't pay them. So I mean, clearly
that's true.
I don't think he just doesn't care.
Lil B is kind of an asshole.
A little bit.
Yeah, just a tiny bit. Yeah,
just a tiny bit. We can't. I can't call whether or not he's aware or he just
True.
isn't, like, he just really doesn't think about it.
He might need to stop asking for to see people's feet on Twitter.
Yeah, what the hell, man?
But outside of that,
or at least get actually do it yourself and do it like don't just use like a bot or whatever it is he's using.
Oh my God.
Don't just use a bot.
To ask people
which in of itself
feedback.
is very problematic to just use a bot for that.
Yeah, there have been attempts to cancel him. I don't know how far they really went because I don't
know if you can cancel Lil B.
No, he's just one of those, I don't know.
The only thing I know is that on Hip Hop Heads Reddit, they still part of that fan base still has beef with him for that because he went onto their Reddit post directly and started just being like, "Where you at?" But that's all.
Right?
He was doing.
Yeah, he was defending himself. Oh, I remember that.
No, he didn't defend himself. All he would do is call them cowards and ask, "Where you at?"
Oh God!
Come on out the woodwork. That's all he was doing.
I must have missed the Lil B Hip Hop Head subreddit drama. Once again, more very online beef.
Because that's why he dropped that. That's why he dropped that parody of R. Kelly's "I'm Sorry."
Oh,
or I apologize, or whatever it was. Because remember, after the controversy, he dropped that song, and the first 10. It's like a 13-minute song. I never listened to it, but from what I understand, it's like the first 10 minutes is just pure silence.
Oh God!
And the last 3 minutes is him rapping.
That is hysterical. It's I admit is the R. Kelly.
Yeah, So he dropped the parody of that.
Oh man, this had to be
Lil B would have a parody for I admit. Jeez. But yeah.
So we move on to the EP, Back to the Witch House, which was a collaboration with Jay, which, if you're in the know, is the former and the producer name and former name of one Cold Heart from Goth Boy Click.
Yep. Yeah, Cold Heart's career trajectory is crazy.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, I think it's just, for now it is, but it kind of isn't because he was chilling and this is also going to why this collaboration happens, because Kray was he wasn't part of it, but it was all because of Thrax House in Seattle, where it was a lot of Goth Boy Click, and Raider Clan members sometimes intermingled together, which is and then kind of birthed out of it, because it was we talk again. I'm gonna keep saying this, but we've talked about it in the cemetery episode, but it was a lot of the this early Witch House mixture would later go on to metamorphosize really pretty quickly into the emo rap scene.
Absolutely, definitely.
Yeah,
I mean even Kray himself will show that in future releases when we get to them. But this is because Key Miata was in Thrax House, so I think that's where the connection comes in with how Kray was hooked up with him. And Kray is a good friend with Key Miata. So I'm pretty sure that's how he got Jay to produce for him on this album or this EP.
Well, damn,
And this thing is tinny.
Wow.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know why this is one of your favorites, right?
This thing is. I have never heard a rap album like this. You know that joke with certain lo-fi albums where it's like, oh, this is the black metal of rap. No, this is it. This is actually it. This thing is tinny as shit. This thing like is so like burnt out. It's crispy as hell in its production. And like Kray's vocals, just the overlapping, and it's fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah, it's hard to talk about this.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to come back to this one. Well, not come back, like come back and listen to it again, because I have heard it, but I really need to kind of soak it in, to be honest, because this is.
It's like the mixtape took the WitchHouse and dark influences and then just did that and then turned it up to 11.
Yeah, it's pretty bonkers. Like, it's a pretty nuts tape. I know that like, it kind of feels like Kray is like he's doing the deadpan, usual like voice and flow, and there's not much like inflections with him on this one. Mm-hmm. And it's like the surrounding instrumentals and the atmosphere is just
there's just like dog barking. There's just distant dogs barking. Like there's constant chirping of like crows and like crickets at night and everything, and just urban sounds. And there's like really fucked up vocal samples about like sibling abuse and stuff on this.
It feels like very sludgy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's just nuts. This thing is insane.
Yeah, this is one of the most experimental rap records that you could hear.
No doubt, for sure.
And it's crazy because, I don't know because I haven't heard much of Jay yet because he has like 500 mixtapes. And most of them you can't find. But, I mean, Jay, from what I've gleaned of Jay's stuff, I don't know where this comes from. Because I don't think Jay ever had this harsh of production before.
No.
Since, again, I could be wrong on that. There's so many things to sparse through. But from what I've checked, it's never like this. And I don't know if Kray asked for this or what, or like how they came about for this production. But man, it's something else.
No, this changes my perspective on if this really is Cold Heart, which I obviously believe you, but like this changes my perspective on him a lot because I only know of him from like fairly recent music he's made. You know what I mean? Like the
punk albums and stuff.
Yeah, that and like the Lil Peep, the same stuff that's in like the Lil Peep vein. And so, yeah, this is crazy. I can't believe he produced this, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is weird that because most people I do not think are aware of Cold Heart's origins and how like for an early time, and I think he still does occasionally even now use the J tag if he's in producing mode. Yeah, but I think he only does it for like his really dark beats when he's getting into that. But yeah, for like the really early onset of his career, he was just making a shit ton of WitchHouse instrumentals. Like then that was all he was doing. How it's 80 like on RYM it's listed as 85 albums of just straight WitchHouse instrumentals. And I'm pretty sure that's not even accurate to how many there actually are.
Oh Jesus Christ, you're right. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
But again, that's that Thrax House thing, because Thrax House was really playing early on with that WitchHouse sound, because again, it had people like Kenyatta, Mac Ned, who was pretty much all in around this time for that sound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's gosh, it's just like I keep going back to just how harsh and abrasive of an experience it is that first time you listen to it.
I listened to that at night walking around, and I lived at the time near a cemetery. And
Yeah,
it
I'm
was,
sure that was.
I could not tell what was a background noise and what was going on in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
But it was freaky, and I think there was one or two points where this album can legit make me jump, like with the noises that it like with the sonics that it throws at you. Like, it's fucked.
You know what? Sometimes I draw a comparison with Black Kray and honestly early Lil Tracy, like the Young Bruh stuff. Sometimes I kind of really put those in the same kind of category on occasion. Like some of kind of a side note, but some of like Young Bruh's really early stuff, like the LSD compilation, I kind of put in the same vein a little bit, to be honest.
I do too. I think the only thing that's missing between the two's trajectory is that, like, I've listened to most early Youngblood projects. I think he never fully managed to go. It's like, of all the Thrax House members, I think he's the only one who never even tried a bit with that Witch House sound. There's definitely influence in like his early Youngblood stuff at a certain period, but I think that all that's missing is that like Kray went for it with like the dark sound. But definitely regarding like the cloud rap elements, absolutely, I can see the comparison being made.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know people have made that comparison unfavorably to Tracy as well. Like they'll be like,
really?
"Oh, he just ripped off Kray and blah blah blah."
Huh.
I've heard that.
It's one of those things. It's like saying, "Oh, we've talked about this." It's like one of those things where it's like he's such an epicenter, everybody ripped him off.
Yeah.
It's not,
Yeah,
and not, that's not even saying they ripped him off, because Kray still sounds absolutely unique in every one of these releases compared to everyone else. So it's not even a 1-to-1. But it's like saying, oh, a bunch of the people from the underground scene are just rip off Space Ghost Perps. It's like, that's not really accurate.
Yeah.
It's more like Space Ghost Perp is so influential that you can't find a person who doesn't have a little bit of him in them.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that's you summed it up right there. That's typically like what the retort should be, because like it's like, come on, what do you expect? Like, Kray being the influential artist that he is, and a lot of times they'll say that, like other artists will say that, how much he inspired them. Typically it's underground artists. I don't know how much he's perpetrated or has like been co-opted in the mainstream. Probably very, very little.
Don't forget about Lil Yachty. Lil Yachty loves Black Kray.
True. That's actually the most mainstream his influence goes, because they were on the same project.
They had a song together, right?
I know they had a song together, but also Lil Yachty was on that song was on a Tread comp.
Yeah, it was on one of the working on Dying
the
mixes.
DJ mix, right? The DJ mix. I think it was the first working on Dying DJ mix that.
I'm pretty sure, yes.
Yeah, that song was on. I thought they had two songs together, but I guess they only had one.
I think just the Killa one.
Just the Killa, yeah. Probably. That makes sense. I mean, yeah. So Lil Yachty's probably the most mainstream that his influence goes, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Lil Yachty's also kind of like a rap unicorn in a sense, because he just like he kind of oscillates between so many different scenes. Like he'll do a song with Drake, and then he'll do a song with like a Flint rapper.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. He had a song with Tato like a few months ago, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Keith on that.
Keith might have produced it. I think
he produced it. That's what it was.
Which he's an amazing fucking producer. I love his production. But that's kind of beside the point.
Yeah, Keith is also on the. We talked about how Kray is on like this. Wyatt and I have talked a lot about how Kray is on this like proverbial like Mount Rushmore of rap influence.
Oh yeah,
for the 2010s. Definitely. Keith is also like on that same list. Space Ghost, yeah.
Damn sure, yeah.
Yeah. What was your list? Why? What'd you have? You had.
Okay, the list is Kray, Space Ghost Perp, Souljuh Boy, Lil B, Waka Flocka, Chief Keef, and Did we have anyone else?
Viper,
yes, Viper
Yeah.
was on there too. And then I think that might be it. I think that was at the time the list that we had compiled where it was like these are the heavy hitters.
that's fair. That's definitely fair.
Yeah, that's a real solid list. I mean, you had Young Thug, right?
I don't think I had Young Thug, but that's because I don't listen to enough of Young Thug to make a call on that. If you think Young Thug deserves enough to be on there, I would throw in Young Thug.
Young Thug, I think he could potentially. I mean, honestly, when Young Thug first came out, I listened to 1017 Thug a lot. Like that tape is fucking sick.
Between Future and Young Thug, who do you think was like the epicenter for like the melodic trap sound?
Interesting.
Future, I think.
Probably. I mean, I would say both probably deserve.
I'm just trying to think because I think
Young Thug.
From what I understand, I'm sure Young Thug is the more experimental, boundary-pushing one of the two when it comes to that. But I'm just trying to think if we're talking about epicenters of who did it first.
It's a tough one. I think Future technically did it first.
I'd lean towards Future too.
Probably, I mean, by a short margin, just because he's been around for so long. He's older than Thugger, but I don't know. I think both of them kind of occupy a similar lane, similar but different lane to Keef, where a lot of the artists that were influenced by Keef were very likely also influenced by those two artists.
Definitely, yeah.
So, yeah, you can splitting hairs really, but it's a good.
They can both occupy the same space. We could combine them.
Yeah. It's a good list regardless.
Yeah. So that's your list for heavy hitters. If you want to understand 2010 rap in any way, just like go there and
just go there.
Check that list, and you're gonna basically understand everything coming forward.
Right. You'd be like, oh, I get it now.
I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, how do you, so I guess we'll move on to the next.
The next mixtape, which is which I guess still is his most famous tape, IceCream and Mac 10s.
IceCream Mac 10s?
Yeah, it has the most ratings, apparently.
I think
it's breaking 900 right now.
You know what? I think it was because we kind of skipped over how I found Black Kray, but since we came to this tape, this is a perfect time to kind of interject with it. This was the one, if you search Black Kray on Spotify, because I didn't know he went by Sickboyrari.
Interesting.
So I found this, and I looked it up. I think on Spotify it says it came out in 2001.
2000, yeah, it came out in it says on I think on streaming it says it came out like in the earlier mid 2000s. So that's why when I first got into Kray, like at the beginning of the year, I was like, how old is this guy?
Right.
But then the dates were so different with on the internet. So I was like, all right, well he's in his 20s. He's not like 30 something. So
when I first found this, I saw that it allegedly came out in 2001, and I was like, no fucking way. And as I'm listening to it, I'm like, no fucking way. I'm like, if this really came out then that is insane. Like for the longest time, I thought it really came out then. And it just blew my mind. But either way, even though it came out in 2013, still like the same feeling about it still stands. Like I was blown away by it when I heard it when I was freaking like, I don't know, maybe like 18, 19, I would say.
Yeah, crazy.
I don't know what it was about this tape when I first heard it that it doesn't really. Still, I'm not super high on it like a bunch of other Kray tapes are, and like most people are for this specific Kray tape. I think it's good, but I'm not exactly wowed by it like I am a bunch of other Kray releases. This doesn't really feel. I don't know. Some people still did at the time even hang this up as like a forward-thinking mixtape, but I think this is one of the ones where Kray isn't exactly doing much new. Mm-hmm. Or at least I can't figure out. I don't really parse it myself.
It's when I first heard it, I was really like into it, but it has grown off me. Like if I'm gonna pick a Kray project to listen to, it's probably not gonna be this one. You know what I mean? But like you said, it's still good, and I still respect the hell out of it, especially for being the first Kray thing I've really heard. But now it's grown off for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I love the constant like the like warbling going on here, and like the just how hazy and crazy, like it really sound. I know there's a review that's like, yeah, this is like sounds like actual like cloud rap. That's like, I think, oh, it's a Varg review. Yeah, he said it's like dissolving. That kind of sounds like what this is. Like if you don't you kind of feel like you're like gonna fall asleep while you're listening to it, and like ascend while you're falling asleep. Like that's kind of how this sounds, and it's a good way of putting it. But yeah, I think I mean, Iced Out Castles is like the song. I mean, there are a bunch of greats. I mean, Louis V. Homo Truck is a great track. Like Gucci Speedboats is great, but like Iced Out Castles is, I mean, that's the song. You know, like
yeah, that's definitely the crown.
Like the way he says, like I got cotton mouth, I'm depressed now. Like that's the way he just says that is so beautiful.
It's perfect. Yeah, that's definitely the crowning kind of achievement of this project for sure.
Yeah, like this is I mean, this is a damn good project. Yeah, I love it.
It's been a while since I got to revisit this one too, just because I don't think I've listened to it since probably, I don't want to say since I discovered it, but it really has been a while. So
yeah, I'm in the same boat. It's been quite kind of a minute. I've never had much of the. Maybe it's because of my initial listens, but I've never had the itch to come back to this one like I do with my other Kray tapes. Mm-hmm. Like outside of Iced Out Castles, because Iced Out Castles is really good.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in the Rate Your Music comments saying like, Playboy Carti wishes he made this. I get it, I guess. Yeah, but
we have to compare everything to Playboy Carti.
Yeah, I know.
Inevitable. I have heard one album with a trap secondary. Now I have to compare it to Playboy Carti.
Rap is trying to be psychedelic. You're trying to be Playboy Carti.
Yeah, exactly. Either you're trying to be. They'll either do the thing where it's like you're trying to be Carti and the guy sounds nothing like Carti, or Carti's trying to be like this.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just funny to me. It's like you guys could do the thing called enjoying the music. I don't know if that's possible.
I get you. Yeah, wasting time with the Carti. I don't think it's really worth much of our time to compare them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
I wonder if Carti though has actually listened to how much Black Kray Carti has actually listened to.
I do wonder that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know.
Curious to think. Because I mean, like he certainly knew about Raider Clan. He was a Space Ghost perp guy.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Prior to him joining ASAP. I mean, there's that joke about how he used to have the tweets that literally said "fuck ASAP" along with Raider Clan or whatever.
That is a running joke.
But that's Carti being the ship jumper that he is, and I don't mean I'm not trying to be diss the guy, but that's what he is. He's a ship jumper.
That is what he is. He's usually. I mean now. Well, I mean, you know, it's gotten so prevalent now that people are, saying he ripped off Jewel Set or whatever. He's not a real vampire.
Or even RCB. Even I've kind of rips. I know Diamonds especially definitely really tries to get that vampire aesthetic. I mean, I guess same with High C too. But.
Yeah. I mean, DUMD is always gonna get shit on because he's 30.
Yeah,
so that's kind of how.
No, you don't. You see, the thing is that everybody's just ripping off that one, that Black Moon project or whatever it is with the two guys who are hanging upside down as vampires on that album cover.
Oh, jeez. I know what you're talking about.
Oh, is it Black Moon? I forget who it is.
What kind of music is it?
It's it's not what you think it is. It's just like an old boom bap.
Oh yeah! Oh,
it has a really high rating.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's fucking Enter the Stage, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, no, that's not. It's not Enter the Stage, but it's another one of the Black Moon albums, isn't it? Gosh, I've only heard Enter the Stage, so this is my ignorance here. But didn't they? They posted a cover. It was like their most recent album, right? Yeah.
Resident. No, that's
No.
not the one. That's not the one I'm thinking of. What's the fucking album I'm thinking of? You guys go. We'll keep going, and I'll try and see if I can find it.
Yeah.
But
Wyatt's never. Have you heard of Black Moon album, Wyatt? I've only heard Into the Stage. So.
No, I have not heard of Black Moon album. If they were on, I'm I'm trying to go through that whole old school.
Yeah, they're not like super canon. They're like old school East Coast canon, but they're not like
they're that type of thing where it's like they're in that position like I call like certain metal albums being bolded are, where it's like if you're a hip hop guy, you know what this album is.
Yeah.
But if you ain't a hip hop guy, you don't know what this album is.
No.
And you'd be surprised to learn that it's very highly coveted.
Yeah, it's like
sometimes I just see like a random heavy rock album that's just bolded, and it looks like, why is this bolded?
Yeah.
And
I haven't even chart dove in a while. I'm sure I can come across something where I'm like, oh, what is this? You know?
Yeah. Like it just looks like the type of thing that wouldn't have a bold, but it does have a bold, and you're like, why? But it's because if you know it, you know it.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely an if you know kind of release. But in terms of
that's what these Kray tapes
are,
albums are.
Thing, yeah. I mean, I guess in terms of IceCream Mac 10s, I love it. I still think it's I wouldn't call it groundbreaking because he has other projects that are groundbreaking, but I think it's a pretty important tape, and Iced Out Castles deserves every word of praise that it's gonna get. I mean,
I'm gonna come back to this one and revisit it after this, definitely.
Yeah. What's the I guess this is so Iced Out Castles that sample. I know it's from like some piece of Japanese media, but I'm not sure where it's from. I know someone in the comment box said Naruto, but that doesn't seem accurate.
No,
that seems trolling, but I don't know where it comes from.
I can see it on. I'm looking on like Reddit right now, and I'm trying to see if anyone actually says what it is. Oh, how unhelpful! No one says what it is.
Yeah, Reddit seems to be the only place that really.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I can't find it. Hardcore Googling right now, and I can't. Huh.
Oh well.
But it does seem familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't. I don't know if I've seen it or not. It is what it is, I guess. But I'll have to look into what it is. Yeah, I don't know. I think when it comes to Iced Out Castles, like that's always going to be a staple song in his catalog and in the general like 2010s hip hop. I don't even know where it's rated it's high up in 2013. That's good. I think the reweighting did it some good there. But
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do we want to hit the 2014 mixtapes, Goth Luv, City of Doves, real quick?
I feel I think we can talk about Goth Luv real quick, but I really do want to talk about City of Doves.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
because I think City of Doves is actually a really underrated release, at least in terms of Kray canon.
So I kind of think both of these are actually.
I haven't heard City of Doves. I'm not gonna lie, but I slept on Goth Luv a bit. I feel like Goth Luv is pretty good, and plus, of course, it has 30 round clip Krayshawn. So I think it's worth talking about a little bit if you guys don't mind.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I definitely I listened to this. I was trying to catch up on more Kray stuff I haven't heard as much of, especially stuff that I thought was kind of more canon. So I checked this out for sure. It's got a lot of good songs. I love No Limit Kurt, Flip Phone, Same Color Lane's really good. The intro's good. I really like Visa Card Shotty's really good too. And of course, 30 round clip Krayshawn is a perfect song too. So I mean, it's got a lot of good tracks, and it's one of his. it's rated highly on here, but I kind of consider it underrated. I don't know if that's kind of a stretch or not, but I think it's really solid and definitely a good tape to get into.
Yeah,
I definitely underrated this initially on my first listen too. I remember thinking that it was continuing, like it was like just a slight. At first, I was hoping that maybe he's going right after IceCream, that maybe he was going back into the Witch House sound because it looked like that was what it was going to be. But other than maybe a small tinge, that really wasn't what this was.
No.
This was, Kray has a thing where it's like it's almost like sometimes a pattern where it's like for 2 releases he goes through an era and then he changes. So it's like Goth Luv and City of Doves is like legit goth phase.
Yeah.
Of the 2, I think this is the more, for as much as Kray can be, this is the more poppier one of the 2.
Yeah, I get that.
I like it more than when I first listened to it. I think it's better than IceCream. I'd rank it higher than IceCream, but I'm still there's just some tracks where it just doesn't feel like it. Again, there's much going on. I think it was more in the later half, but I remember. But there's definitely good stuff on here. I think it's still all a quality, Kray tape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one is really. It's definitely. Yeah, he didn't go down the witch house route with this. He definitely kind of leaves that, but it's definitely really. I get. It's obviously really. Very atmospheric, very kind of washy, kind of ethereal. It's still good. I like it quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's I wouldn't say. I would say maybe it's top. Wouldn't say top 5. I'd probably put it in top maybe 7-ish, around there. Not horrible, not bad at all. Still good. Still pretty good. It's not my favorite either, but it is a bit underrated and pretty good.
Yeah, I'd definitely throw this in I'd probably throw this in more like the middle area for me in my rankings, like whatever that would be in terms of numbers.
Right.
But it's kind of funny because it's like how you feel about Goth Luv is how I feel about City of Doves, because this is in my top 5.
Yeah, we can move on to that if you want.
Because this sounds like recently you can see on the ROM page, there was by Sophia, there was a Hurricane Slash, aka there was a review where she really goes into how Goth Money, the group, who we haven't talked about much, but Goth Money as a group was definitely trying at times to play into that goth sound, and here Kray goes all in. This thing sounds like a legitimate gothic 18th century cathedral music. This thing is so good. It sounds like it was recorded in a gothic church.
Oh shit!
In terms of the production and everything on here, Kray's rapping is lethargic and but not his normal groaning. He's still got an energy to him, but it's he's just a lot more somber on it and everything, but in his own Kray way. But it's so good. It just nails it right on the head what you're thinking of when you think goth rap.
Yeah. No, I mean I think you summed it up perfectly. Really, and this is the part about him having 2 albums and then changing a direction or stage in his career. I think is really interesting, because now I'm looking at all his mixtapes and I'm seeing kind of the sea change from project to project and year to year. So
he definitely, it's like I said, he definitely has his eras. It's we get the Witch House era, we get the Skate Rat era, then we get to the Witch House era, then we have this goth era, then we get to the emo era, then we get to I don't know what you want to call it, his experimental cloud rap era.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, and then it's like, or like him getting into like weird dance clubby music mixing in with his music, and then we get to the tread stuff.
Yeah,
and now we're in like, and now it seems like with his recent releases and his collab with freaking Booty Chain, it's like his pop rap era right now.
Yeah, I would say this is like his pop rap era.
yeah, I'd agree with that too. Yeah,
I think the only real outlier to this theory is IceCreams and Mac 10s, which is just a pretty just a not standard fare, but it's just a cloud rap release, really thrown in between these Goth Luv and like the Goth and WitchHouse eras. I think that's the only real monkey wrench, but otherwise, yeah, it maps out the progression.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, who knows when IceCreams and Mac 10s was recorded, and how much of an oddity it truly is. Mm-hmm. So,
we can't really know. Kray even nowadays changes so much. Like the amount of scrapped album covers and stuff. Like he still does it even now. But yeah, though City of Doves is really good, and I think it's like I said, it's like in my top 5. Like I freaking love this thing.
Yeah, this has Plug Walk on it, so that's
Plug Walk.
Yeah.
Oh, I have heard Plug Walk. Okay, yeah.
Plug Walk is great, and then I think I remember. Like I'm trying to remember. Like
Plug Walk is nuts. Plug Walk.
Red Teardrops, Goth Crick, like the intro, and 92 Lexus.
92 Lexus is another one.
Started off really good because again, it just sounds like church music, like just warped through like Kray's like mentality. It's just so good.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna hit this one up for sure. This will probably be the first one I go back or to check out rather.
I highly recommend it.
Yeah,
it's just so good.
Watch My Heart Bleed is another one of my favorites on here. That's definitely like super good. Don't know the producer on that one. Because there are some names on here that like we'd see.
Yeah, there's still some. We're still getting some J carried over. I think Goth Luv had some J too.
Yeah, there's like some Nadarb on here. And,
Nadarb, Horsehead.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, Horsehead's on here. So, and if you count obviously J, now that we know that's Cold Heart, it kind of makes sense. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Squints Main is the producer on.
Yeah, I have no idea who that is.
Ever heard of them? I'm looking them up right now.
Rose French Nellac _. Yeah, I don't know any of these really.
Yeah, I'm looking at Squints Main. Yeah, just a producer, songwriter. Never heard of it.
By the way, Optimal, I figured out what that album was that I was thinking of with the two guys on the front cover. It's Nocturnal by Helta Skelta.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh, shit.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's the
How did you get Helta Skelta?
It's like, those are vampires.
With Black Moon. I guess it's fair because they're both like East Coast. Like
I think it's just because I look at that album cover and I think, oh yeah, that's definitely a group that would be called Black Moon.
Yeah.
Because like, vampires, Black Moon. But then it's like, oh no, wait, Black Moon is just is like a regular boom bap group, which is kind of a weird, funny name to have it for a group called Black Moon. It seems very
they're in. I mean, they're both in like Boot Camp Clique.
Oh.
So that's like Smith and Wesson, Black Moon, Helta Skelta. Like that's Boot Camp Clique. That's like a Brooklyn thing. My bad. Sean Price and like Buckshot and all them, that's Boot Camp Clique. But like the overlap of artists that are in different groups are like Black Moon, Helta Skelta. Because Buckshot's in Black Moon. Helta Skelta has Sean Price. So that's kind of like the overlap. They all coexisted with each other and intersected with each other. But yeah. That Nocturnal album's really good.
I like that.
Seems
The album
like it.
cover's sick.
Yeah, it's a dope ass album. It holds up. It's a really good album. Sad, R.I.P. Sean Price. But yeah, great album. Great album cover too. Yeah.
So do you guys want to move on to 700 Degrees?
Yes, if
Yeah,
we can.
let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. 700 Degrees, which is my favorite as of today.
Me
Great
too.
tape.
Honestly,
Yeah.
it's so fucking good.
This is like number 3 for me outside the 2 WitchHouse projects. Like, yeah.
Yeah, you said you had. I know you have a interesting history with this mixtape.
Do I?
You said that you had it was a near car accident with this on.
Oh no, this wasn't that one.
Oh my bad.
That's coming up later. I think that was either 4,000 Degrees.
4,000. It was it was one of the Degreeses.
Yeah, it was 4,000. Yeah, it was 4,000 Degrees that happened, not 700.
Yeah,
but 700 Degrees is is really good.
Yeah, it definitely.
It kind of takes where it's kind of like that nice middle section where it's taking like where like what Kray was doing with the Goth Luv stuff, what he was about to do with the emo stuff, but he makes it really fucking catchy.
Hell yeah. Like, especially, like, I mean, Stevie J and Jocelyn, that song, like, that's another song for me that is just, like, probably one of his best. And I could see how that song influenced, like, a lot of the emo rap, like, the goth boy clique kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I can see probably, I would honestly say that probably, like, Lil Peep probably loves that song, or loved that song, rather, rest in peace, but...
Yeah, I mean, that's an incredible song. I mean, just the run of songs this kicks off with.
Hell yeah.
Like 30K Uzi, I love that song. Mm-hmm. 10K Motorola is all over this, and like, I mean, that's
that's Kray, right?
The pseudonym, yeah. But that's interesting. Is this the first time that he uses that pseudonym?
I want to say so, just because I'm pretty sure looking at I think on City Devs and Goth Luv, I don't see him on there. I don't know. I can't remember how. There's people like that don't have a link that could be him that I don't remember if he ever goes by them or not. But I think in terms of 10K Motorola, when I look at his page, this is the first project where he uses 10K Motorola.
10K Motorola being his most like common pseudonym. He's used it in a bunch of projects since then. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Swaggo Paint is him.
Yeah. That's a wild name.
Well, this tape has a number of classics on here. I mean, like you said, Stevie J and Jocelyn, 30 God Tears, 7 Roses with Blade on it, Young 6 Speed. Those are like...
Yeah, Blade. That's crazy that Blade is on this.
Those are all like fan favorites, at least to my knowledge. Pretty acclaimed songs. So
I think 28's on a NASCAR is pretty underrated.
Oh yeah,
I like that song.
I fucking love that song.
It's catchy.
Yeah. That's the one that has like the literal like NASCAR samples, right?
Yeah. Is this where he really? I don't remember him really referencing NASCAR too much before this. I could be wrong though. Maybe he did.
I don't think he does. I'm pretty sure he does not up until this point.
Is Young 6 Speed like the hardest Black Kray song?
It could be. I mean, a lot of the tread stuff's really hard too, but I mean,
right. That's an incredible fucking song. Great music video too. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
I'm not sure. The thing I like about Kray is he has a lot of really cool music videos. Like he makes music videos for a lot of his songs. I mean, average.
Most of his like one-off singles and stuff he'll have videos for. But yeah, I think he and Blade. I mean, this is a pairing that would go on to be very successful throughout the course of both of their careers, but they just fit so perfectly together.
Hell yeah!
Oh yeah, definitely.
That they sound great on 7 Roses. The way they play off each other is perfect. So yeah, I love that song.
What's the other song there? I think it has Kane Groceries on it too. It's Famous, right? That's the name.
Famous, yeah.
I love that song too.
Yeah, that's
That's a
when did that
little
come
later
out?
on, I think.
2018, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
2019. Something
Yeah,
like.
I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Yeah, this is basically like
This is
a greatest hits album for an album that just
yeah.
that the greatest hits are right on it. Like it's really good.
Yeah.
Tony. I like the last track a lot. Tony Yayo as well.
Tony
I mean, it's
Yayo.
just
Isn't there a I could just be thinking of the next project, but or the next two projects, but is there an acoustic song? Isn't there a song where he samples an acoustic guitar on here? Am I wrong? Like in the latter half of this project?
oh man.
I'm
Is it-
trying to remember.
Is it
It's
it
like
Shine
right near the end.
I was thinking it was Shine, but I don't want
Shine
to get
or
the
Lap
track wrong.
or Lap
It could-
500 maybe? I don't know.
Whichever
No, I
one
think
of those
Lap
it
500 is I think Lap 500 is another one with like a NASCAR clip or something.
Whichever
Yeah,
one it is,
yeah.
that one is like that one for me is like a real deep cut highlight.
You know what? I think it might be Shine because I think
It might be Shine.
it's kind of like
I
an
was thinking so too.
kind of thing. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I was thinking it was either Little Shine or I was thinking of Walk With Me, but I can't remember what Walk With Me sounds like.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Shine, but you never.
Okay, then yeah, it's definitely Shine then. Like Little Shine for me is like a really deep cut highlight. Then if that is the one that I'm thinking of.
And to kind of add to your point, this is kind of I wanted to bring this up during this podcast, but I looked at Kray's Instagram story it was like maybe last week or the beginning of this week. He posted a song, and I looked up the band that it was by, and it was like this kind of really obscure like indie post rock band. I was like, I mean, I figured he listened to a lot of music, but I was kind of surprised by that. And the song that he posted it actually featured Isaac Brock from Modest Mouse too.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, I guess his music taste is pretty it's pretty wide palette, I guess.
No, I've seen interviews with him. He's got pretty eclectic taste.
Yeah,
He's
I
like-
remember he used to talk about how like when he was early on as a kid, like that was what like him listening to things like a lot of like sad emo stuff and like Witch House was like what was getting him like picked on, which is why he had the whole goth aesthetic.
Right.
Because that's basically what they would call him, was that he was a goth boy. So he was like, all right.
Right, like yeah, like I love the mix of like hood goth too. That's like such a nice mix and juxtaposition,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think like he and on this tape, like this is like a definitively like emo rap kind of project. Like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the start of it's him. It's like I said, it's him transitioning from that goth era into that emo era.
It definitely
next
feels
two
very
projects.
like it feels like very nakedly emotional.
Mm-hmm.
This might be a little of a hot take, but I kind of compare this a little bit to Ever Since by Blade. Do you think that's fair?
I mean, it definitely has that like chilly kind of feel. I don't know if it's definitely like cold and kind of has that like depressive vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I definitely think both artists have taken influence from each other potentially.
Yeah.
I mean, they've collaborated numerous times and they've been cool with each other. So
Right.
it wouldn't shock me. I haven't seen many Blade interviews because he doesn't do them. So I can't really. I don't know how much he's taken from Kray exactly, but it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, Wyatt.
I can't tell you because I'm not other than Glue, I'm not big on Blade enough that I feel like being able to make the opinion.
Wow.
Yeah, Wyatt in the cemetery episode we did kind of talked about his like his kind of like hiccup with a lot of like Drain stuff.
See, I didn't like Blade until very recently. When I first heard him, I did not like him at all. I listened to Ever Since. I was like, what the fuck is this? But he's really, really grown on me in the past probably 6 months or so.
I was like into the Working on Dying project just purely for more so the instrument than Blade himself, but Glue I did really enjoy. But most of the time, it's like we talked about in Cemetery episode. It's like I think that his production post that at least from the projects I've listened to, they don't really grab me. It kind of, to me, sounds like, I just get in that mode where it's like, well, this is that Swedish cloud rap song sound. That's what we're doing. And then I don't think Blade, his performance, and the same goes for Thai Boy, is that they're not really doing, for me anyway, they're not doing enough for me to be interested. And so I'm just kind of like, oh, it's okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of mixed opinions with Drain Gang, so anything is kind of valid with that. It's kind of really a mixed bag,
Yeah. But at least I have Glue, so I'll take Glue. I really like Glue.
Glue's awesome. Glue's top 3 for me easily.
Yeah, that's a great project. That's actually not even in like my top 3 or 4 Blade, but
no, really.
I mean, it's a great project. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna sit here and say I love it. And I think that you could definitely say that there are parts of it that it wouldn't surprise me if someone was like, yeah, it's my favorite Blade project, or this is one of my favorites, or this is this. I mean, every song on there is good. I think the first couple tracks are probably my favorites. I mean, I think I would probably say it eBay and Shadowface and probably
I love Shadowface.
Yeah, Shadowface is one of my favorites. Some of my favorite things Bones has ever been involved with.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I probably Unreal is another one of my favorites.
Everlasting Flames I love a lot too.
Great track. That's the only one that isn't Young Sherman or White Armor beat, I think.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, who did that one?
I think that was a producer whose name I do not recognize.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I thought it. Oh, huh.
Oh, interesting.
Oh well.
Interesting. He was also on a Night Lavelle album. But yeah. Anyhow, Kray and Blade, yeah, definitely. We've talked about this a lot, Wyatt, but just operating in the same circles. They're they're I always say, the fan base is like a circle. It's just, if you made a Venn diagram of the fan base, they would be a circle.
Right. Yeah. Right. I get you. Yeah.
So I guess we want to move on to Thug Angel.
Yeah, we can do that.
I think
I'm not going to have much to say about this one. This is one of the few Kray tapes I'm not high on. I think the next one does what this one's going to do a lot better.
Oh, still struggling?
Yeah, I think that one's vastly better than this one.
Right, so we can say, I think this is a really, really good mixtape, but I wouldn't say it's in my top 5, so I don't have insanely strong opinions about it, but I still think it's a great tape.
So for me, this kind of is the same thing with City of Doves and Goth Luv. This kind of falls in the same category as Goth Luv for me. I think it's a bit underrated a little bit. While it not being my favorite, is still really good at the same time. We get Lil Earnhardt, which is a really fucking good song. Yeah. Uzi Kiss, Put Angels. It's solid, and it is really good, but I wouldn't put it in my top 5 or 3, Yeah,
I think that's probably fair. Yeah. I mean, I think Count It Up is one of my favorites on here. I think Third War Dove and Uzi Kiss and Count It Up are probably some of my favorite. I mean, you kind of nailed that starting bit. It starts out super strong.
Right. This is where he's got some working on Dying production on here too.
Production, yeah. He's got. I know Filthy was on it was on 700 Degrees, but he.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Here. Yeah. He's on Lil Earnhardt, Count It Up, which once again, Count It Up is probably my favorite song. Mm-hmm. He's got Lucy Man on that too.
Yeah, Lucy Man too. Yep.
NetArb's on here again. Interesting. I didn't know. I just must have skimmed it when I first heard this tape. I didn't know NetArb had a beat on this.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that either.
Yeah, but according to the credits on the site, anyway, he's got. You hear a couple beats from people that we haven't heard of yet. Also, a couple guys I haven't heard of on here.
Yeah, Timeless. Never heard of him.
Never heard of that. And they don't have there's no links or anything, so I can't dive into the catalog. But
right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, either way, I think when it comes to Kray, like, I love the album cover also.
Yeah.
I think the tape kind of sounds like that. It has this it's just this deep melancholy to it.
Right. It's kind of sort of unique in that way. It kind of has that melancholy kind of floating away to heaven. I don't know, kind of like a melancholy but kind of ascending feel to it. It's a weird mix, but
yeah, I think it has some of I think my more slept on Kray songs on here.
Yeah,
I think overall in his catalog, I think that heavenly feel is interesting. You said that's an adjective I'd probably use too. I don't know. So I get why it's coming from, where he's saying that the next tape does it better. I probably
is just this kind of falls into the IceCream and Mac 10s thing, where it's that one just feels like it's Kray doing a cloud rap album and that's it. This feels like Kray is just doing an emo rap album and that's it.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. I think in the case of this one and the next one, he does both very well. I prefer this one by a little bit, I think.
Yeah, a little bit for me.
That's personal taste. I guess, what is it that you like about the next tape, Still Struggling?
I think in terms of the sonics that he's playing with, in terms of emo rap, it's a lot more varied and it's a lot more interesting. We get straight out of the gate, I think with Goth Luv, which is great. We start getting into the we get tinges of acoustics on here. He's definitely playing with that what would be those goth boy click hell boy sounds kind of. Yeah. In a way, just it helps vary it up a bit more. Because I think I can't remember if it's this tape or if it's once we start getting into the Sickboy the shitty Sickboy stuff, where Kray's performances start he starts doing that. He's really getting into that whole moaning thing for almost every track. I think this is right before that, but the production helps vary it up more and make it a lot more interesting as you hear him play with it on here compared to Thug Angel.
Yeah, that's fair. Trying to think of what else can we can say about this tape. I don't have too much to say about this one.
Me neither. Really, to be honest. I got to come back again. This is another one I got to come back to too.
Yeah, this one is definitely one that I have to come back to as opposed to some of the first ones. I mean, I love Gucci Mane Wrists. I love Thousand Roses. I love one of the last tracks. That was Thousand Roses. That was
really good.
Yeah, Yo Gotti's really good. Thousand Roses was toward the bottom. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, because I think that's the other. That's one of the. There's any of the tracks here that has the acoustic guitar on it is pretty much a highlight to me. I think Yo Gotti was one of them.
Yeah, Born Alone, Die Alone is really good. That's the one I was thinking of.
That one's good too.
Yeah, that's a really sad song for obvious reasons. But yeah, that's a great track.
I think I remember Thousand Rows being really
good. Yeah, there's some very just outwardly depressing music on this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It kind of fits the cover art once again.
Right.
Yeah. I think this cover art does a lot more for it being that melancholy state with that the wraparound of the clouds and the
right.
I do find that he chose the worst coloring of font ever for reading this title.
Yeah, it's so washed out and tinged you can barely even see it.
Yeah, that's great, but yeah, I love it. I like this tape a lot. I think it would be like on the edge of like, well, it'd probably be on the upper parts, but yeah, I like this tape a lot.
Yeah, I think it's a really good tape, and there are more standout songs on here than I mean, even though I have it rated highly, there are more standout songs on here that I remember now, just jogging through my memory, than I initially gave it credit for. So yeah, definitely a strong project, and a lot of like Kray's emo rap stuff, is so interesting going back and listening to, and you're like, oh, he made this, like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's pretty wild.
It's forever ahead of his time,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because again, he was right along with those with the goth boy clique people, and I mean, given the last project, he was hanging out with Blade, like he was in on it. But I don't remember when Hellboy and those projects came out, but it's that type of thing where he's like right on the pulse, or just even right before it.
Yeah, he's always been on the cutting edge, for lack of a better term.
Oh yeah,
ahead of the curve. Yep.
Right, and that's for better or for worse, honestly.
I'm looking at it now, and this came out right around the time Pete released his first EP. I mean, his first mixtape with Lil Peep Part 1.
Part 1, right?
Yeah. So yeah, he was right there. But honestly, it's two different worlds. But Kray has certainly taken the idea of emo rap. He's already playing with it by the time we get to the same year, still struggling, still shining.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. I mean, do you want to? We have one EP here right before well, do we want to touch on the Blizzed Out EP?
I don't really think so, but that's because I think this is one of the more generic things that Kray has ever put out.
Yeah, it's pretty short. I mean, I will say, Birdwalk's really good. I
remember Birdwalk being like the one good track, but it's like I think outside of that.
And 28's on a NASCAR's on this too.
Yeah. It was originally labeled a bootleg, and then I think it got removed from that. Now it's official.
Yeah, it was at one point a bootleg. I guess people weren't sure, but it's because Blizzed Out put this out, not Kray himself.
Yeah.
So I think people were just unsure, and I think it was by like some odd name. So it's like we had to like verify that yes, it was Blizzed Out who put this out.
The cover
Blizzed Out has done that. There's other projects now that we have on RYM where it's like Blizzed Out like put out like some comps and shit where it's just him and like somebody that he's produced for. It's like halfway comps, halfway real projects.
Mm.
Yeah, I think when it comes to this EP, like it's kind of, if you like Kray, you'll probably at least kind of like it. Then there's not much to it. It's only like 5-6 tracks, so you can just listen to it, kind of move on. I remember it being pretty solid, but I didn't really give it more than one listen. So
I wasn't too high on it just because I don't think Blizzed Out's production is that interesting for Kray to go ahead and try out.
It's not as unique as a lot of the other producers he's got.
Yeah. Maybe if you're really into the recent tape with Nokia Talk 2002, maybe this is a thing I would recommend that you check out.
I think that I love that mixtape, and we'll get to it.
Me too, man. That mixtape's pretty awesome.
Really good, but I think it's like a better version of like the songs are better.
Yeah. Compared to this, I think it's definitely
with Nokia Talk. I feel like I have a bit to talk about that. That I enjoyed that quite a bit. Even if it is kind of moving into the pop rap realm a bit, I think he does really well with like Evil Gianni and a lot of those producers.
Oh, absolutely.
But we can talk about that later, though.
We got still ways to go.
We got tread stuff to do now. So
shitty Sickboy.
A big arc in the Black Kray career because I had found about him. Sure. I knew about him. I got into like the tread stuff right after the IceCream and Mac 10s like wave. So yeah, I love this tape. I think KP. I know you like this tape. Why? My bad.
I like this tape, but it's like of the projects that we're going to talk about here coming up. like this run that he has with like the weird experimental cloud rap like dance and like tread stuff.
Mhm.
This is like the second one that I'm not hot on. Like, it's not that I'm not hot on it. I like it a lot, but it's like on the lower range of this upcoming material.
Mm.
Yeah, I love this. I love this tape. Like, it has I think it has some of the hardest beats he's ever rapped over on it. Honestly,
Filthy kills is. I mean, this is out of like the tread. I would say, I know we're gonna move on to this one after, but I like Working Out the Mud more than this. But I think this is still really, it has Mask Up, Go Dumb Lick music, and that's a fantastic fucking song. I love
there's
that
not
song.
much of that song there's not much of this I don't like, and that's the centerpiece of the tape, obviously.
I remember when I watched the 108 Mike's Tread video, he said he didn't like this tape like at all, really, and I was like, oh man, this tape is pretty good though. I think.
I don't know. I do remember I had a conversation with him about that. I think on the either on a podcast episode or just like through DMs and stuff. Yeah, I remember him saying he didn't like it, but I mean, to me personally, this tape always struck me, and there's not a song on this I don't like. The Baby Cash Out, you know, I fucking love that song.
Yeah, it's a great intro. Yeah,
the hook is so infectious. I love the way like the beat kind of like oscillates. I love the last 3 songs. I think are the strongest points of the tape.
Yeah, definitely.
Like Elm Street Horror Squad, that hook and the way like the kind of like deranged like horror movie atmosphere going on in the background too. It's very like very, very dark, very menacing.
Him and Filthy are just a really nice combo, to be quite honest.
Yeah, they have great chemistry, and they've been, we had seen it on earlier mixtapes, but obviously now they get a full-length tape to go in. Now, Filthy does the whole thing on this, or is there other...
It just says Filthy on Rate Your Music. I don't know.
I'm not sure if we get... Do we get, like, a Brandon Finessin or anything like that on here, too? I mean, the tags wouldn't change, but...
Right.
So it might be Filthy just done the whole thing, but...
Could be, yeah.
I didn't hear... I can't remember if... I didn't hear any Oogie Mane tags listening to this. And
looking at the Bandcamp description, it looks like Filthy's the only one that gets a specific shout out as a person.
Right. Sometimes
which
with
is
production,
the idea of why he's the only one who produced it.
I feel like sometimes with production, sometimes they include someone's name, even if they do something that's like really small, even if they're just like, you should move, like change the hi-hat pattern a little. You should, whatever.
My only thing is that I don't think that Kray would have produced any of this.
No.
So I think I'm more confident saying that it's just Filthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I probably with you on that, but yeah, I love this tape. I've listened to it a lot. It was initially like, I don't think it's one of the best Tread tapes, but I definitely think it's in the upper echelon of Tread projects. I wouldn't put it in like the top 3 or 4, but it's definitely in like the top 10 Tread projects.
Yeah, it's in the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess that leads us into another, not explicitly Tread project. How do you guys want to talk about Souljuh Love? Because I know it's kind of like a fusion of.
This is
what he was doing before, and then like some Tread stuff.
I have this rated. I like this one a lot too.
I like this one a lot too. I think of all this semi-Tread material in this this 5 album run, I think this is my favorite. I really love Souljuh Love, Rari World.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great tape. I love. Obviously, everyone's going to talk about Codeine Tears.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what else needs to be said about that song? Like
that song is amazing. It highlights like the funny sound that for some people who aren't aware, like why we're so hesitant to call this Tread albums, because there's some weird dance influences on here. It's like Kray tried to take this production, like he tried to take club music, mix it with cloud rap, and then just warp it.
Right.
Like there's some out there beats on here that sound like they would be like just like it's just like club music being heard while you're on syrup. Like it's crazy.
Right. Codeine Tears in particular, like, is that a sample that the melody? I don't know. I don't think it is, but that the melody is just it's so nice. I love it.
I'm not sure if it's a sample or not.
I don't know, but it's so like ethereal.
It's like a hood lullaby.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty.
It's pretty good. There's
pretty good description of it.
There's shit. Is it the There's like a really wild sample here. I think it's even the last track, Black China, where it's like the really out there like club, like some sort of EDM sample that's going on. It's like nuts, like, and you get that type of thing throughout like this album.
Right. Yeah, this one's wild for sure, but it's really good.
Yeah, great record. I love what else do I love on this tape?
The
Love for Ren. Yeah, Love for Ren. I love that one. Yeah, you're right. Shine on Western Ave is a good one. I'm trying to think of there was one more that I was the clear highlight for me on this one. I think it's I think that's it. I think I got those were like my favorites. I mean, Codeine Tears to me towers over a lot of the tape, but the rest of the tape was like consistently real solid throughout, and definitely.
I like Styling with the Tech. I guess I'll just mention that one too. That's a solid song too.
Oh yeah, I do like that song. And I was gonna say, actually, the one after that, Taliban Ave.
Oh yeah.
I like that one. That one's got a good. Is that Nadarb on that? Oh no, Nadarb's on the next one, but yeah.
Oh,
that's still a good one.
Yeah, it's a good stretch of tracks right in the meat of the album.
Yeah, the middle toward the end, because then you get like Kray does a few of them. The one with Kane has Filthy on it. That's a more straightforward tread song.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I agree with Wyatt. There's like an interesting set of influences on this. It's hard to pin this down into like a subgenre.
Yeah, it's a nice mix. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the track I'm looking at now, I think the track I was thinking of was Where Your Soldiers At, Where Your Soldiers At, Where You Souljuh Rag. That's the one I'm thinking of, because Black China is like a tropical type of track. Again, it's really weird.
Mm-hmm.
By Kray doing Tropical House.
Yeah, well, it's got like a really tropical beat type of sound to it. It's just odd, but also it's like, yeah, so it's like taking tread and like bringing it into like a dancey, like.
Oh, someone commented too. There's a Fleetwood Mac sample on in Styling with the Tech. I didn't even realize that.
I didn't either. That's crazy.
That is wild.
I haven't picked that up.
Me either. I'm gonna have to listen to that again.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't tell you who. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say. I was looking at the production credits, and I'm like, oh yeah, I do know who that producer is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess if you guys want to move on, because we've got stuff to do in terms of the Kray catalog. We're getting there though. I think we're
already well past halfway.
Yeah, are we in the? I think we should.
You guys, I forget which comes first between. I don't know if you guys want to talk about the Sad Boy EP.
You have. I heard it. I remember it being good. It is good. I don't remember much from it. I heard it a while ago.
Mm-hmm. If you don't have much to say on that, then we can just go on to Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, we can move to that.
Yeah, we can do that. I remember 12 Teardrops being a really good song, and I don't have much to contribute about it.
I remember what I was thinking of is that I don't think this tape, I find it curious that this is the tape that it's like people don't like from Kray. Because I think this EP is, this mixtape, I mean, is pretty decent. I definitely think the first half is way stronger than the last half. I remember that specifically about this tape. Like it starts off really good and then just progressively kind of goes down until I think either Diddy Kruger or even the outro, because I know again he throws in an acoustic song on that and that's great. But otherwise, it kind of just deteriorates over time. Because I remember things like One Night and 90210 were pretty good. But I do just find the rating for this fascinating, that this is the one where it's like collectively everyone was like, no, this is the bad one.
Yeah, that is odd, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like my favorite or anything. I heard it once, I believe, and I wasn't like too sold on it.
Yeah, I think I heard it once, but
it's kind of weird because it's not really, it doesn't fit. It's one of those things again where it's like it's one of those albums that doesn't fit with the progression that Kray was doing. It's not anything related to the tread sounds he's playing with prior and right after this. It doesn't. It
feels like it feels like another kind of like stopgap, like oddity in his catalog.
Yeah, and it's one of those things again where it's just like this is one of those tapes where it's not him improving on anything or trying anything out. It's just him. He's just making a cloud rap album again. So I don't really know, and it doesn't help that I the original cover for this, if you can find it, it's kind of a bit hard to find because it wasn't out for very long. But the original cover for this is a lot more interesting. The cover for it now is kind of like probably on the lower end of any of Kray's covers ever, and but I think it does highlight just how like inconsequential kind of this tape was.
That's a good point. Yeah, I feel you on that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting in just how like it just feels sort of. I mean, for one, like the rating is literally like, okay, guys, this is the one we don't like. That's funny.
Yeah, it's like a huge anomaly compared to everything else. It's like all of his tapes are like, sitting like. Even more hilarious is that like this is one of his few modern tapes that like doesn't even crack triple digits.
Right. Yeah.
Everything else has got like 200, 300, 300, when it's like 97. 3 out of 3.1.
Yeah, I don't have too much to say about it because I don't remember it too much. I should give it another listen tonight.
I don't. Yeah, again, I think it has a strong. It's like I said, I don't remember much of it either, but I just remember that specifically it had a strong start, and then as you go through, it just gets more and more like meh. And I was just kind of done with it when it was done. So I do get why, some people would probably say that this is probably on their lower end, because I do think that, especially as an anomaly, it does nothing for Kray. But, I mean, just taking the songs as they are, like, this feels more like it should be, like, where 700, like, this feels like it's more of the emo rap era for Kray, I will say that. But I do think those few starting handful of tracks is pretty good for Kray if you like that era.
Yeah, it's definitely it's definitely not bad or anything. It's definitely worth listening to if you're a fan of Kray. I don't know if it would be one of like the first 15 Kray projects I would recommend to somebody, but
this was the last thing I ever listened to by him.
Yeah, this was one of the last things I listened to too. So, just because of reputation, to your point.
Yeah, right. I'll still end up checking it out probably just out of, I mean, I think I heard it once, but I really literally don't remember anything about it.
Now that I think about it, I guess it kind of makes sense because Sad Boy came out in 2016. So I guess this is kind of like the album pairing to that album. I think the only thing I'd say is that I think the Sad Boy EP is better than this. I think that's how I'd put it.
Right.
I think that's pretty much how I'd describe it too, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So, I mean, if we only got much else to say about that, then we can go on to Working Out the Mud.
Ooh, yes.
It's a great project.
Hell yeah, it is.
I get to be the contrarian and say I'm not high on this.
Really? Oh, man.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew that. I temporarily forgot during the episode, but I knew that I think we talked about it before.
We did. It's like this is like my controversial Kray opinion is that I'm not very high on Working Out the Mud at all.
You like every day of the week or no?
I don't remember specifics because it's because it's like I said before we started recording. I made a mistake. I've been so busy with homework. I kind of am been lethargic with recent listens to remember specifics, but I do remember that it's like compared to like the crazy production on Souljuh Love, Rari World, and like what he's going to do with 4,000 Degrees, where he kind of mixes like he takes what he did on Shitty Sickboy and Souljuh Love and like mashes them together. In my opinion, on 4,000 Degrees, it feels like Working Out the Mud. Again, I'm going to keep using this analogy, but it's like you got your standard fare emo rap, you got your standard fare cloud rap with IceCream. This is Kray's standard fare tread release.
Tread tape.
To me. Yeah. And this is like it's a tread release, but it doesn't catch me like the other ones do.
Huh. That's fair though. I get what you mean.
Yeah. I think it's a really, really, really consistent tape.
I have it at a 4. Honestly, I would maybe bump it to 4.5. To be honest, I mean, I really like this thing. Every day of the week is probably one of his just. I mean, it's one of his strongest hooks. I think it's definitely a song that if someone didn't know Kray, I would play for them. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's just a classic, beat. I mean, Working on Dying just really went in on this one. Like Little Stevie Nash is another one of my favorites. I play that a lot. I like the track title, Girlfriend Work at KOD.
Yeah.
That's just can't speak to the song, but that's a great title.
The intro is really good too.
I love the intro. That's probably
In the House, Bands and Perks, Every Day of the Week. I mean, it's just like it's got a bunch of slaps on it, and plus, I mean, the production I think on this is just really tight. They really nailed it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think I definitely think it in the House is a big one. That's the one where he's like, in the house, everybody in the house.
It's a fun song.
Yeah, that's a great. I mean, his hooks on here are good. I definitely played this one a good amount. Yeah, I think Trenchtown. Outside Every Day of the Week, I think Trenchtown, Little Stevie Nash, and In the House are my favorite ones on here.
Yeah, this to me, as much as I do like Shitty Sickboy, but I think this is it. In a way, definitely an improved version. I would say, like he really hit it on the head on this one for sure with the tread stuff. Not to say I don't like Shitty Sickboy though, because I do like that too. But
right, yeah, of course. I think it is cool that we all kind of have like different takes about the tread stuff. Like Shitty Sickboy is my favorite of his in the tread, and then it's this one, and then Souljuh Love, and then the fourth one, the Nightmare.
Right.
And I think Wyatt's is Souljuh Love, and then Shitty Sickboy, and then like this one. And then yours is this.
It goes Souljuh Love, then 4,000 Degrees, then Shitty Sickboy.
Oh, 4,000 Degrees. See, we haven't gotten to that one yet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That one
in terms of his tread.
Yeah, his tread stuff. Yeah, I mean that one is like a little. I think it's kind of a little less tread than some of the other ones.
A bit, yeah, maybe.
Bit.
Mm-hmm. It's in the same boat as Souljuh Love, where it's like it's
right.
Kind of get you the sub tag, but it's not going to be. It's not tread like the other two are.
Right.
No, for sure, absolutely. But yeah, I love this mixtape too. I'm with you, Troy, on this one. Like I think this is a great tape, and definitely one that probably one of his more, I think, accessible ones. I don't know exactly.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know if
I would say that too.
His recent
this one
stuff
definitely takes a lot more. Like it's a lot. I don't know, between Shitty Sickboy and this one. Like I think this one's a bit more quote unquote like grimy and like kind of meets that like I don't know, more like street aesthetic that maybe some people would be appealed to.
Yeah, it's like, it really blends the cover really, not the cover, the title really kind of exemplifies it in a way, and that And I mean, I just want to talk about the cover for a second because he's wearing like a one piece, like looks like a janitor kind of suit, maybe, and he's got a big ass shovel. I think there's an alternate cover too, but
there is. It's like it's just your standard fare what do you call it? Pen and pixel cover type where it's like it's like a shovel and like I think another tool or whatever, like crossboning over like a bulletproof vest.
Right, and that's he gets. I feel like I should mention this too. He gets a lot of his inspiration. I remember he mentioned he loved like Cash Money and Hot Boys and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I think I want to say the one he loved the most was Juvenile, if I'm not mistaken.
I think a lot of his stuff is kind of like taking these different styles, and there's a little bit of like Cash Money worship in a lot of Kray projects, I think.
Right.
I think a big project where that's evident is the most recent one.
Yeah.
Which I know we'll get to talking to, but I think you can hear kind of like some Cash Money worship in a couple of Kray projects, more so as we've gone on in his career.
I
I've always been curious with my big brain. I always had this big brain thought that I've always been curious of the album cover is a reference to Tommy Wright III.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Oh, interesting.
Ashes to Ashes.
I have no idea, and there's nothing to go off of other than that they're similar. But I've always been curious if that is what he's referencing.
That would be pretty cool. So, to be honest, if there's a connection.
Yeah, I mean, I guess wrapping up the Tread stuff before we get into those like EPs. You could do 4,000 Degrees, and I guess you can talk about why this is your favorite or why this is.
This is like so the 4 Tread release runs. This is my second favorite. It's kind of funny that I'm more into the ones that aren't just straight Tread.
Yeah,
but again, I guess it's that thing where it's like when Kray and his producers play with the sound, that I'm more into it. It's like kind of like with the Still Shining deal, but like I think this one is kind of like. Like I said, it takes what the Tread sounds that he's doing, and then what he done Souljuh Love, and he kind of mashes them together. So we get great things like Wrist Talk is great, and then again I'm trying to remember some of the tracks here. I think I remember LV Same Color My Shorty being really good. I feel bad always when I can't talk specifically.
Well, I know.
But
Extort for me has that. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's the same sample as Pain by Cemetery.
Oh, really?
Oh, so it is.
Yeah, Extort for me. Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's a good fact.
Yeah. Kray kills that song. It's probably one of my favorite songs on here, I think.
That is a really good song.
It's like the perfect sample for like an emo rap song. You know what I mean? Like, I think I saw like comments somewhere. I think it was on the video of the actual sample. It was like, Lil Peep can't wait to get his hands on this one.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the perfect little guitar lead for it.
I think Teddy Brookshaw is another one that's really good on here, which has a great title. But yeah.
I will say we don't talk about it much, but I think if I had one criticism of Kray following this entire era, like post Still Shining, going into Shitty Sickboy and following, is that he does do that one moaning flow a lot.
He does.
So it's like sometimes it's like ride or die on the production because Kray is just going to do his thing. I do kind of wish he would vary it up a bit more at times because it's like I'm thinking it's like that's why like none of these projects in this Tread era, even if I really like them, like this album or Love, Souljuh Love, I can't rate them 4.5 or higher because they start blending because he's still just moaning the whole time the same way sometimes like a lot of tracks. He varies it up occasionally, but he really sticks to it, and that kind of has an issue of making a lot of the songs blend together.
Yeah,
I like that blend, but it is a criticism to be made.
It's a bit of a knock on him. Yeah, I get what you mean.
I could see it. I could see it. Yeah, I don't know. I think when it comes down to an artist that I like, if I'm with how they're presenting the music and how it sounds to me, then I'm like okay on whatever kind of stylistic path that they might stagnate on. So I guess in the tread stuff, you could argue that over the course of 4 projects, there is some stagnation there. But I like Kray on that tread sound so much that it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, no, it doesn't bother me. It's just that I can't help but acknowledge that it does have an issue of making the tracks blend. At least on project to project, it makes them blend together. Because as much as I can maybe think about the sounds of the album, when I think about Rari on the tracks themselves, all I can think is him going "aww" every track. That's all I can think about.
Do you think the same?
And it's a matter of me remembering how that works with the instrumental versus anything else.
Fair.
Whereas, way back on Alicia Keys, I can think about how Rari is on that track, like how he's on that song,
mm-hmm.
and what he does with it, because he's not doing that. So,
do you attribute it to do you think he's just kind of sticking to what works, or do you attribute it to kind of laziness? I don't know.
I don't think it's laziness, because I can't imagine with how Kray thinks about things that it's him being lazy.
Right.
I have to think that maybe it's him trying to do this thing where it's his calling card. Maybe he thinks that I guess he does technically vary it up sometimes before he does the moaning. Right. He just keeps ending it on the same moan. But I think he's sometimes he thinks he's just trying to make it a calling card. I don't know, but
yeah, I tend to agree with you on that. I certainly don't attribute any of his stuff, anything he does really, to laziness. I mean, obviously he's got a good work ethic when it comes to music. So,
I mean, I definitely can tell that he puts a lot into it.
Yeah,
he definitely cares about it. I can't imagine that. I can't. Maybe one. I can't think of a release where I could say oh, this is the one where Kray wasn't trying.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe he was just really in on this whole moaning thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just him thinking that this will be my thing, and then I'll play around with it. But the problem is that thing is so prominent that even if he does play around with it, I can't tell.
Yeah, it can't go unnoticed, kind of, especially when you listen to a lot of his stuff,
Yeah, and it really does confine him sometimes flow-wise, because he has to end it doing that.
Yep.
So we're always ending on the same 2 melodies.
Yeah.
But I still do love this tape. Let's not get, I wanted to point that out, but I do like this tape a lot. But I'm just saying that at this point, when we get to 4,000 Degrees, it's it's not much to do with Kray other than him being a compliment to the beats.
Mm-hmm.
It's more so the beats themselves, which I think are really good.
Right, which is I mean, I feel like I end up using that description with a lot of cloud rap, the rapper. Not saying this is completely cloud rap, but I'm just saying the rapper compliments the beat. You hear that with Die Lit, Playboy Cardi a lot, that he compliments the beat. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily a bad thing, but
I mean, my thing is that I do that with music in general, because I've kind of got the stagnant opinion that it's music first, and the vocalist was always meant to be the secondary part to any musical. And I know hip hop tries to emphasize that. To me, that's why I put the rapper always secondary, because it's I remember Dead End Hip Hop used to talk about how it's back in the day, we used to be fine with a rapper being over bad beats because we cared about the rapper. And I find that fascinating because it's just like, I don't know how you do that, because I'm not here to listen to a guy. It's like, I don't mind the guy rhyming, and I don't mind the guy, spouting his poetry or singing or whatever. But it's like, if I'm listening to music, it's music first, which that's the instrumental. That's the meat of what I'm here for.
Right. There's lyricism kind of, I don't want to say it doesn't matter to me, but I agree with you.
I don't want to say that either.
Right.
It can improve upon it, but it can and sometimes it can be the thing that elevates a instrumental. But I'm never thinking vice versa, like the instrumental is elevating the rapper, because the rapper to me is always secondary.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I think I agree. I think we're on the same page with that. Like,
so it's like that Shady Blaze album title, rappers ain't shit without a producer.
Yeah. And they deserve more credit all the time, the producer, so.
Otherwise,
and it really hasn't been until like this past, decade or so where producers have gotten more credit,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Which is funny because it's like, I wish that's how people would think about it more. It sometimes feels like, at least in terms of the mainstream, it's like people, you get the anti-bumble rapper people and all that, but it also feels like there's a slight towards producers sometimes, where it's like, no one talks about like, this is the age of, like, instead of us focusing on being like, man, this is a great age for producers, everyone's like, oh, this is a bad age for rappers. It's like,
because people,
why can't the producer be the important one? We've had plenty of producer-based albums, like for Christ's sakes, we have instrumental hip-hop albums that we call hip-hop, that we also hold in high acclaim, like Donuts, hello.
Yeah.
It's like, why can't we be in an age where the producer, what's wrong with being in an age where the producer is more important than the rapper?
Right.
Nothing's wrong with it. It's just, how people are closed-minded and stuff,
Yeah.
Like, that's just...
It's like people hear the word rap and it's like, rap or hip-hop, and it just has to be someone rhyming. I feel like that's what people's brains jump to first, whether there's a beat or not, or a good beat or not, I should say. But that's really, that's, again, like a closed-minded view of it.
Yeah, I know some people are like really like to emphasize the idea of the rapper, and that's like, that's what makes hip-hop unique. I know some people really like it's the wordplay and everything, and while that is certainly unique to rap, never discredit that. It's the thing is that is in service again to the music. The ability of flow, rhyme patterns, like, and even at times wordplay and pronunciation is always in service of, at least most of the time, is in service of the rhythm. And then lyricism is, like I said, is like a side dish.
Right.
Otherwise every other aspect of rapping is in service of following and mixing with the beat. So it's like, it's like the instrumental is what we really should be focusing on, is what makes rap unique, and its focus on rhythm.
No, 100%. You're definitely hitting on all the... I mean, rap is more than just the art of rapping. And that's something that, it shouldn't take.
The poetry.
Exactly.
I guess.
Yeah. And I guess this is a roundabout way to get into it, but should we talk about Bloodrain now?
Yeah, if we can.
Yeah, because I don't know. I know some people. I don't know if we want to talk about the pressed shooter, because I know some people.
I forgot.
Some people bring it up. This is actually the pressed shooter, though, is one of the few Kray projects I haven't listened to yet. It's like one of the few blight spots for me, but
it's got some pretty good songs on there in the back half. I think it's a solid EP. I think the last 3 songs are the best songs. No Comp is my favorite. Through the Field is my second favorite, probably. Those are the ones that like I still spin like from it.
What? Listen to this comment on this project. Never gonna forget how I went to Orlando last month and Stephen Malkmus from from freaking Pavement took over the radio for an hour and played the title track. I don't know if that's a joke or what.
I refuse to believe that's real, but that's amazing if it is.
Yeah, that's insane. That's crazy.
I'm just curious about this project because it's in collab with FHN Mook, who is part of the Nobody Death Set crew.
Mm-hmm.
Who they have that really great tape with BMB Deathrow.
They do.
So this always made me interested to check this out, but I just haven't ever gotten around to it because this is like the one. This is the one Kray EP that isn't on streaming services.
Oh right.
For whatever reason, this is the only one that you can't get on streaming.
So yeah, but I think you can. I'm pretty sure that you can find it on like YouTube and stuff because I did.
Oh no, I'm sure I can find it. It's just that you can find this really easy. It's just that I'm just saying, like in terms of ease of access, the easiest, on streaming, this is the only one.
The easiest of access, yeah.
Yeah, I always try to download everything I listen to because I use it for walks. But yeah, this is the one. But this one I've been interested in, but it's the only one that I'm missing out of like really my listening catalog.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always curious about it.
Well, I guess we can go to Bloodrain, and I think this has a couple of his like, I think songs that are celebrated the most, like Amongst the Dead.
Definitely, yeah.
Is one that a lot of people. Bloodrain 2020 is another one.
Mm-hmm.
Like that ending run of tracks, which he produced.
I do remember the opening "Paint the City" being pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely a really, really strong EP.
Yeah, I think it starts strong and then ends strong.
Right. This it's kind of odd. I kind of stopped listening to Kray for a little while because I don't know. I just kind of fell out with him and this kind of I guess the style of hip hop in a way. I just wasn't as into cloud rap and stuff like that. But this is kind of when I hit this tape because again it was easy to find on streaming and I think it might. I could be wrong. I was going to say I think it's under the Black Kray name on Spotify and streaming. I could be wrong about that. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure it's under Sickboyrari.
It's under Rari. Yeah, you might be right. But yeah, this is kind of where I jumped back into him and started listening to him again. I listened to Amongst the Dead a shit ton of times because I love that song.
That's a great song. I love that song too.
And then I just really kind of dove into Kray again. So it's kind of one of the jumping off points for me with him. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think, and shout out to Jaguar Claws too, because I did not know who they were prior to hearing the beats on this. Now, they were on 4,000 Degrees too, I think, but if you go back and look at like their like production catalog, they've been on things as far back as like some Chapo tapes from like. Right. 2016 and stuff. So yeah, shout out to Jaguar Claw for sure. And like I think it's cool that the tracks that Kray produced are like my favorite ones. Once again, like he's just so multi-talented.
He is really, yeah. He's a tight producer.
Yeah, I don't know, Wyatt, if you have anything to say about this one.
I don't have much to say on this. I just remember this being really good.
Mm-hmm.
It is really good, yeah.
It's a pretty strong EP, like I said. And I remember that it starts strong and ends strong. The middle section is a bit miffy for me, but otherwise, I think it's pretty good. But I don't have a lot to say about it.
Mm-hmm. No, it's fair. I mean, it's pretty short and sweet. It's only about 17 minutes or so. So
yeah.
Yeah, it's got its highlights, though, for sure.
Oh my god, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, like the last two tracks are probably my favorite. But yeah, great EP, and I don't know if you guys are gonna touch on the tales from the four.
No, I haven't heard this one.
It's only 2 tracks.
Yeah,
it's basically it seems like it's a haunted. I don't know, Sicko Mafia. It seems like it's more of a Kray is only on one song, I guess. One of those.
Yeah, it's not technically like in Kray project. I do really like the first track though. I remember that one pretty well. It's a really, really good song, and I know I listen to it on SoundCloud, but I think it should be available on YouTube or some other places too. But
yeah,
it's short and sweet. It's cool, cool little EP. Not much else for me to talk about, but yeah, I fuck with it.
Okay.
Yep.
Do we go to Euro Glime next?
I forget which came out first. Was it Euro Glime that came out first and not Nokia Talk?
Yeah, no, Euro Glime definitely came out first. That was last year. Yeah, that was in the summer of last year. Okay. So this has a lot. This one grew on me actually. This has a lot of good songs on it. I didn't give it enough credit the first time I heard it.
Is this might be the first tape? Oh, I just realized Jaya is on here too. But is this might be the first tape where he gets together with Evil Gianni?
Yeah, I think it is actually.
Yeah, I like Evil Gianni a lot.
Evil Gianni's he's such a good producer.
He's dope. Yeah.
All the stuff that he's did with like Baby Go Yard, Zeliocho, obviously Casper, like.
He was good on the last RCB album too.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. He's they've been doing a lot of stuff with Surf Gang. Like I've noticed that over in 2020.
Right.
Like cuz High C had that tape with, or that song rather, with Yen 5K. No More Heroes.
Oh yeah. That's a good song. Yeah.
Love that song. Yeah. Yeah, Yen 5K is hard.
He sounds a lot like what's the tape I'm thinking of? I think it's his most recent one. He sounds a lot like Chief Keef, but in a good way, kind of.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No, I hear that.
He emulates him really well.
Yeah, no, he's a really good artist, and definitely someone I'm looking forward to hearing more from. But
right,
yeah,
I think the project I'm thinking of is something Enemies something.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, that one's good.
Was that 12? Just Pray for My Enemies, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yep. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, Pray for My Enemies. Yeah. Great stuff. But yeah, Evil Johnny's a great producer.
Yeah, definitely.
I've been really fucking with like Surf Gang and like all their stuff. So.
Surf Gang's great. Yeah, who's the other one? Tommy Too Hot. He's pretty good too.
He's really good too. Yeah, they have I know they work with like. I mean, I know that I don't know if Scress is like insert. He's not in Surf Gang, but like he works with them too.
He's like affiliated. Yeah,
he's affiliated. Yeah, Scress. This Landis too. Well, he kind of bounces around to a lot of different things, but yeah, those guys. So a lot of like, emo rap like adjacent.
Right.
Or in that lane. But yeah, when it comes to this tape, once again, like it's a really good tape, and I kind of underrated it.
Yeah.
When I heard it, I was like, yeah, this is pretty good, but like I'm not gonna like listen to it again. But I revisited it after. I don't know why I revisited it, but I revisited it for some reason. I think it came up in like my recommendations again, and it stuck with me a lot more the second time. Like Choppa Sing Like Violins is probably my favorite.
That and the one before Angel.
Yeah, Angel Link's my goods. Yeah, I think those ones and Warzone are probably my favorites.
No, same with me. I underrated. I honestly didn't like this when I first heard it much at all, but then yeah, I gave it another try, and it's not bad at all. It's pretty good. Yeah,
I don't know how you feel about it.
I don't have an opinion on this because this is another one where I ain't heard it.
Oh, you haven't heard it? Oh, my bad. I forgot.
Yeah, this is another one where it's just this little recent run. Yeah, so it's like these last like run of EPs. Like that's like my blind spot for Kray.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I guess we can sort of move on then because I know we're all kind of. I mean, Troy and I are just like, yeah, it's really good. Like,
yeah.
right. I mean,
we have the same standouts, so we can't really talk about it too much. But I do think this is indicative of like the pop rap lane on here, like that he was gonna go into. Like I think
it does have a sub tag on it off
Oh, it
WAM
does.
for a pop rap, so I was interested.
It does, yeah. I did
It's
not
not
notice
too
that.
normal that you see a pop rap and a tread
Yeah.
sitting side
In the
by
same,
side.
yeah,
Oh,
right.
that's crazy.
Secondaries. Yeah. No, this is a good, really good tape, and I like the variation with the production. Like no one producer is on more than one track.
Right. Yeah, it's varied. Yeah.
Cool thing. Yeah. Like I said, I know we have the same standouts, so we're kind of just hitting the same beats here. But it's another really consistent Kray project, and kind of like foreshadowing of his most recent project.
Dude, are we gonna skip over? I haven't heard it personally, but I'm just checking with you guys. It's rated. It's probably his lowest rated thing on here, but the Soicy Deathrow tape.
I also have not heard this, but from what I understood, wasn't this just that Kray and Chapo had like no say in this, and this is just Lino taking verses?
Yeah, no, this was just this is like throwaway garbage. Yeah, I heard like
that sucks.
It's not great. It's on streaming actually, but it's not good. I wouldn't recommend it. But it's not really Kray or Chapo's project.
So, how often do they actually appear on each track?
Oh,
like, are they actually prominent on this tape, or is this literally just a Lino solo tape where it's he just kind of has them there?
Kray's on like 3 or 4 songs. Chapo's on also 3 or 4 songs, but they're not on like songs together. Lino's on every song.
Okay.
So
yeah, but from what I always understood, this was like stolen verses, or like they didn't know, and it's like paid for verses.
Yeah, trash.
And then like Lino tries to make it seem like it's a big 3-way collab.
Yeah, that's fucked up. Just to get some clout. Yeah.
I don't even know how it's still on like streaming and stuff. I'm surprised it hasn't been taken down.
They should. Well, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, if you paid for the verses, you paid for the verses, man. But I mean, it's still like okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I guess as long as they got paid for it, then.
I hope they did. Again, I don't remember if the story is they paid for these verses or he stole these verses, but.
I don't know the story behind it. I know that it was like I know that like it was without their consent, basically, like to be on it. I do know that. Yeah. But I don't know the exact story. Probably.
We've got a silver ring situation here.
You're in all the
verses, mashed them together.
You're in all the discords. You should find out.
I'm sure I can. I guarantee if I ask the SGV Discord, they're gonna know in the heartbeat.
And then heartbeat be like, fuck out of here. Like, fuck this guy.
I'm pretty sure they already are, yeah.
Yeah.
But what we can move on to that's much more important and quality is Nokia Talk 2002, his most recent mixtape.
Yeah.
And Kray's big move in the pop rap.
Yeah, I was a fan of this move. I didn't expect it to be what it was. I played this tape like a good amount this year. Like, it's more of a vibe to throw on, you know. I'm not going to be like drowned in, the psychedelic noise while listening to it. Not that that's a bad thing. That's a good thing. But I think overall it's more like low key, laid back. It has some of his like some really strong like melodic hooks. Like "Don't Act Like" is a great.
Oh yeah,
that's such a hooky like. Bouncy song. I wouldn't expect Kray to make something like that.
And they don't have the producer credits on Rate Your Music for some reason on here, but I know Gianni's on the 5th track.
Yeah, Ease on Me. That's one of my favorites also. That
and he might be on one more that I'm not sure about, but this tape is solid as hell. I mean, the production's really kind of lush and really kind of bouncy. I really like it.
Kind of vibe.
Right.
Almost, yeah.
And it kind of sucks. Moon should be the last track, right? I don't know why they don't include it.
Yeah, I don't know either.
It's not on streaming either, so maybe that's why. But Moon is really good. Moon might be my favorite out of all of these, to be honest.
Moon's a great song. Although I didn't know it was supposed to be I thought it was supposed to be a single. So now
I thought it was on this, but they just didn't include it on streaming, and I'm assuming that's why it's probably not on here either. They probably took the track list from like Spotify or something. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is a single, but I heard that though. So
where did you get the project from where it had Moon on it?
I don't know. I just originally I saw like a track list somewhere. It might have been on Twitter, maybe, or maybe is it Bandcamp? Maybe is it on there? Let me check.
I remember I ripped this
Bandcamp.
from. Yeah, it's on Bandcamp. So they probably used the streaming.
Right. It's kind of too bad because it's a nice outro. Like I said, it's a top track for me on here for sure. But oh well.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's a great song too. So I'm with you on it. But
yeah,
I'm sure I have the version that had Moon on it because I remember I ripped this straight off from Dismiss Yourself when they posted it, and I'm pretty sure they posted like probably whatever the OG version was.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's probably fair.
Yeah, but this is another one of those tapes where it's again I'm not high on it.
I know this one we talked about before. I think. I mean, I love this tape. I love the little like skits and stuff before some tracks. I love the one we talked about. There's a skit in there about like I don't know who was saying it or what, but he was like, I dropped out. I kept failing something about failing math class or something. Like he just kept. I don't know. There's a funny skit about like getting sick of school and like dropping out.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, I forget. It's in the. I want to say it's around like Kelly Rowland, Taliban Souljuh type.
Could be, yeah.
Type track, but I forget what it is. Shed a Tear for the Set is a beautiful song.
Mm-hmm. I like Off the Rip too. I like Ease on Me Like a Visas, obviously. Keep You Right Here is good too. Although it's kind of underrated in the track ratings here, but I think it's pretty good.
Yeah. Ease on Me is one of my favorite beats on the tape.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
I remember being pretty high on Gasoline, obviously. I think it's pretty strong. On Go, I remember being pretty into. I think I liked Shed a Tear for the Set as like on the back end of this album,
like a penultimate track. Yeah.
But outside of that, I was never big on this. I don't think the production does it for me. Personally, I just don't. It's not. I don't know. It's just not exciting enough for me for some reason, and it just doesn't like. When I think of Kray coming into the pop rap world, I'm expecting him to. Again, I'm kind of expecting him to come and like really do something with it, but I don't. I feel like this is him kind of. It's not him bringing the world to him. It's him going into that world.
Huh.
It's he's kind of following a bit more than leading on this album. I will say that I'm glad that and I don't know if he did this on Euroglime because I haven't heard it, but he does stop doing the moaning flow though. So I give props for that.
Right.
He started dropping that, so he's back on actually, because I remember with Gasoline tracks like that, like he's not doing it anymore. So I'm glad that he doesn't feel like he has to stick to it, and that when he changes up his sound, maybe from here on out, maybe he really is going to. If he sticks with the sound and he keeps playing with it, he's probably going to change up his flow again to try and meet that sound. But this just feels like it's that type of thing where I get the sense that this is that type of thing like with Thug Angel, where it's like this is the tape where it's just like the tape, but then I'm more excited for what happens next because I feel like he's gonna really go all out with it.
Right, like come into his own with this style. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I was excited hearing this tape just because I think it's another cool avenue for Kray to go down, and I think he can excel in this lane too. And
absolutely. I think even though I'm not high, I can tell that again, it's that type of thing where he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And if it will get him a little bit more notoriety, that'd be great. Like I'm never gonna, object to that. Like hopefully it will get him more notoriety.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely
which I guess leads me to like kind of the final question here. Like where do you guys think he'll go from here?
I think maybe he might. I don't know how much he'll keep the tread sounds that he's been playing with, because I know that when he did the production for the Booty Chain album project, that he was basically he was essentially like the second player in that project. Like he's nearly on every track.
Mm-hmm.
It's like halfway his tape, basically. It was still playing within these pop trap realms a lot of the time. So I definitely think, at least going forward, I think he's still going to stick with that. I haven't heard of any of his recent singles, so I can't say whether or not they still kind of sound in this vein. With things like In the Field of War, Ballad of the Dead.
Yeah, I'd say In the Field, like the War, it's fairly similar to the songs on here, I think.
Mm-hmm. So I definitely think then that he's going to continue down this route. Going into the next project. Again, what I'm hoping for is that what we're getting is a Thug Angel into a Still Shinin', where, the first one is him like doing the style that way, and then the next one is that he's going to play with it.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to see where he picks up with this, because I think even the singles after the mixtape came out have been leaning in this like pop rap direction too. You talked about Moon, Troy. That's definitely a strong track, and one that I felt like all it needs is like a cosign, and it would like gain a lot more notoriety, because I feel like that's another like pretty sticky like song.
For sure.
And he's been doing a lot of lately. Like his stuff's always been melodic, and it's always been, but the earworms used to be different. Now I think they're a little bit more, accessible. Where like
accessible, right?
Yeah, like I recommended a friend of mine who hadn't listened to Kray like the Nokia Talk tape, and also some of Kray's features, like his track on the Fawny album, or the Firestone. That song is great. One of my favorites of the year, actually. And that's like a Working on Dying track, but it's like kind of Working on Dying more in their lane of what they've been doing lately, like their stuff with Uzi and stuff.
Yeah.
And Kray sounds terrific on it. Like he sounds great. He's flowing over. It's basically his song. He does like the whole shit, and Fawny has like a verse.
Well, I saw on his Twitter or Instagram, I saw that he linked up with Filthy again, I think, or at least Working on Dying. So I'm assuming they're probably gonna do something soon.
For sure. I mean,
that'd be dope.
Those guys usually always make good music together. So, I'm looking forward to that. Like I said, I think he's reaching a lane where, if his influence has been acknowledged, obviously, by a lot of artists that have come up, but now he just needs to be like almost kind of pushed through, where he's not going to be like a super underground, artist anymore. He can have a little bit more notoriety, I think, and continue to evolve.
I'd be curious to see what would have to happen for Kray to get any sort of mainstream like acknowledgement.
Mainstream.
I feel like it almost would have to be purely by accident.
Yeah.
That he in any way,
or he gets like he's featured on something that you wouldn't expect.
Wait,
like the closest that I can think of right now, outside of like how you feel about like his Drain Gang features, is like maybe in terms of recent times is like he was on the City Morgue album.
Yeah.
In terms of recent projects, that's probably the biggest thing he was on.
I think it's fair to say that, in my opinion, he could reach like Lucky level, like where it's kind of like Lucky's a pretty well-known artist in the underground, but he's not like mainstream, but he's kind of like sort of adjacent to artists in the mainstream. Like, he has like an Earl cosign and stuff like that, but he's not like, his songs will do like, 3-4, like he has some songs that are like 3-4 million plays on streaming.
That's
and
good
stuff
numbers,
like that,
but
does solid numbers, has a lane, has a niche, has a pretty big core fan base. I feel like Kray has the core fan base and the lane and the niche and all of that, but he doesn't quite have the numbers yet. Outside of
feel
like
like-
the Labs and stuff like that, like Famous and Blue, that song
Blue,
with
yeah.
Blade, that song is hard as hell.
I feel like I have to mention, Black Kray was in a Miley Cyrus music video.
Yes, he was in We Can't Stop, right?
Yeah, that is insane. Like, you guys just talking about him, like, potentially being mainstream at some point, that kind of just made me think about it. Like, that, I wonder how that crossover ended
Was he
up
the guy,
happening.
he was the guy cutting off, like, the fake fingers or something? Or was he,
Yeah, something like that.
something like that. Yeah. I remember, if you go and watch the video, it's so funny.
Mm.
I just find that funny because, again, it's like you think back to his early days where he's calling himself Tim Black Dashy. I'm sure he had a thing where he was like, I'm the Black Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
I guarantee he
believe
probably
that.
did Selena Gomez. He did Kardashians. I'm sure he did. I'm almost like 90% sure he did something about being like a Black Miley Cyrus.
Right.
So it's kind of funny then that he's on a Miley Cyrus.
That's a very, like, Lil B-esque thing.
I know. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably where he got it from because you know he was a huge fan of
Huge
Lil
fan,
B
yeah,
early
he
on.
was a huge fan of the bass freestyles, obviously.
But in a weird way, I think that I think as of right now, unless like again, Kray gets lucky with a feature, I think like the thing that would blow up, I think the thing that has the best chance of making Kray get mainstream acknowledgement, honestly, is Booty Chain.
Yeah.
I think with the recent surge of female rappers, I think if Kray and Kray providing his production along with it, I think Booty Chain honestly has the ability to actually get somewhere like in sort of a mainstream sense, and then Kray is just along for the ride.
Right.
Yeah, I think Booty Chain could be like Flo Milli level, like popular.
I
Where she has like that one song that like everybody fucks with, like gets her on like some mainstream radar.
That tape was definitely solid though with her and him. Yeah,
really good.
Yeah, like I don't think Booty Chain will get like and I wasn't very hot on the Booty Chain album. I had basically the same opinion of it as I have of Nokia Talk 2002. But I think that Booty Chain could certainly get to she ain't gonna get to any like at least as of right now I don't see her getting any like big female rapper level, but I think she could be like the level of like I don't know like a what's that one rapper Hook or like a
Hook,
City Girls
yeah.
level. I think she could definitely be there if she's not there already.
Well, the one good thing she has going for her is that allegedly she coined the phrase "tread."
She did.
I heard that somewhere, so that's pretty cool.
It's even referenced, I think, on the RYM page for Tread. But yeah, Booty Chain named Tread.
That's pretty.
Don't
cool.
know what the context is, but
no, me either.
I'd be curious to know what her reasoning is for calling it that. Because it always, as cool as the name as it is, I actually don't know what the physical act of tread has to do with.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
With the name, given how I don't know. Maybe it was because around that time they were doing like what shitty Sickboy does with the really big prominent bass. Tread
could have to do with that.
I don't like.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I don't know. It's interesting to consider, and it's interesting to consider where Kray will go from here. But shout out to Black Kray. Definitely
Shout out to Black Kray.
An innovator.
Sickboyrari. No one ever really calls you that, and we probably.
Someone asked him. Someone asked him in an interview, and he's like, "Cause I'm sick." Like he said something like.
Yeah, and I remember that, but it's just funny that I don't think I've ever heard or seen people prominently be like, "Oh, Sickboyrari." It's always Black Kray, and he's been sick. He hasn't been Black Kray since like 2016 or 17.
Right.
But people still call him that, even though he's been trying to be called Sickboyrari the whole time.
I can't believe on Rate Your Music it says his first name actually is Rari. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but once again, like I said, shout out to Kray, innovator, forever ahead of his time, like we've kind of gone over, and we hope that you guys have come away with some recommendations to listen to, or if you're already a huge, Kray fan, you can definitely let us know. Once again, thanks, Troy, for coming on.
No problem, man. Thank you.
Thank Wyatt, aka Kittenpuke, on the site, just for being the Go editor, and also coming on and talking about Black Kray. Definitely an artist that we all love and will continue to follow for as long as he's around, and any pseudonym he uses.
Mm-hmm.
But for the three of us, I'm Caleb, and our outro music's Stagnated Pace by Cankick. Have a good week, guys.
It ain't gonna never stop. 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 It ain't gonna never stop.
Time will tell. Time is yet to be conquered by man. But when the time is right, perhaps the greatest revelation of all time will dawn upon us.